Video. Well, hello everybody. How are you today? I'm glad you're all here with us. Okay, it's going to be a long 3 hours. Actually, it's not going to be long. It's going to be so fast. I promise. Okay, so if everybody could just mute their microphones right now, and then we are going to start. All right. So together 3 hours. This is going to be an interactive workshop, you guys. I want you to ask questions. Look, we've all been through a lot. So I want you to be very, very interactive. I will pause at any time. I have my sister Janix, who was named under Damien because that was my other sister was helping me, but she hurt her back. So Janix will be helping us with any questions. And I want you to ask them, as long as they're related to the topic that we're talking about, ask them right away. Then if you have other questions, we'll certainly have time for that. Okay, so we'll also have some live polls, which is really exciting. And in a minute, I will show you how we start with that. I promise to give you some breaks. Yes, I will give you 10-minute breaks, and then we'll start on the dweeby dot after the 10 minutes, okay? And now the Zoom guidelines. So on your screen right now, you may see a large slide and a little tiny me, or you may see the gallery of all the attendees. So we have to mute our mics, guys, okay? So what I suggest you do is at the top right-hand corner, you'll see either gallery view or speaker view. So you wanna press it on speaker view, I think. So you see the slide and then a little me. So if you do see that, there is a bar here, and you could take your cursor and just kind of move it over so it makes the slide, the PowerPoint slide, a little smaller and me larger. Why not? Okay, so I want everybody to mute their mics and turn off your videos, okay? I'll let you know when we're going to turn it back on. All right, let's do this, you guys. All right, everybody get your phones out. All right. This is where the polls are going to happen. And you only need to do the polls once. I mean, excuse me, you only need to enter this in once. So here we go. Okay. You guys, can I ask please to have you turn off your microphones? Thanks. Okay. So now grab your phone. And then I want you to either text in 2223 right here. And then in the message, Meryl Snow 189, or better yet, which makes it so much easier, is in your phone, in your web browser, type in pollev.com/Meryl Snow 189. And then you will see the poll questions come right up. Okay. So that's for web voting and then text voting, okay? Now, there's issues with this. The last webinar I did, or 2 webinars ago, it was like perfect. The last webinar I did, it was like so sporadic. But ultimately, I do get all the answers. Now, the good thing about this is, you guys, these are all anonymous. You can answer how you truly feel, okay? Because every answer is anonymous. All right. Are we ready? Let's start with an easy one, guys. Okay. I work at blank. Start plugging them in. I can see that it's probably not working right now. That's okay. Still do it, because we will get the answers, and then I'll be able to maybe go back and then we can see them. All right. So I'll give you another second. Now we'll go to the next question. At what capacity is your business running? Well, look at that, it's working. Yeah, I'm not surprised to see the 25% and really not surprised to see the 100%. Yeah. Yeah. All right, guys, this has been a tough one, right? People that have been in business for over 20 years, they understand about 9/11 and the 1993 recession and the 2008 crash, but we've never seen anything like this. All right, so most of our businesses, 51% of us are at 25%. Only 3% of us are at 100%. I want to know what those 3%. We'll ask that question in a little bit. All right, next question. In one word, how are you feeling about the current situation right now? Okay. Yes. Early, knowing, expect, now. Okay. I'm in one word. Oh, no, I'm sorry, guys. It's this one. In one word, how are you feeling about the current situation right now? We'll get them. Okay, next question. Using one word, your biggest challenge of my job is one word. Okay. All right. We will get these during our break. I'll make sure I put them all up there for you. Okay. So what just happened to us? I mean, as the world is stuck inside, your brain is working on overdrive. You're dealing with sudden changes in your business and in your career. And you've got like so much on your mind. I'm sorry, I'm still tongue-tied about this whole thing. And it's been since March. You're thinking, what's the right move for my business? What's the right move for my career? How do I decide? What do my employees need? What do my customers need? You guys have made some hard decisions in the last few months, no doubt. You've had some difficult conversations with your employees and your vendors and your bank, some conversations that you thought you would never, ever have. You either furloughed or laid off or terminated. You may have guided your team through the unemployment process. You may be running your business at a 20% capacity or none at all. The only comfort that you may be feeling is that you're not alone. I know you keep hearing that we're all in this together, and we are in this. Everyone's dealing with this, whether you're a business owner, a manager, or a team member. The reality is that we're facing this all across the industry, and COVID, it's impacting every single business and person. This virus, it doesn't discriminate. Weddings and corporate events and conferences and social celebrations, they're all being canceled or postponed in order to practice safe physical distancing and to help flatten the curve, right? There's no doubt that this crisis situation has caused hardship for many business owners as well as their clients. We're living in a world where every day brings new challenges and challenges that we can't quite predict. What was normal last Tuesday isn't normal by the time Sunday comes around. And as business owners and humans, we can, we roll with the punches, right? Right? Okay, I have to pause here for a minute. Please mute your mic. Somebody is shuffling around, maybe typing, doing something. Please, please, please mute your mic. You know why? It's throwing me off completely. Okay, we're moving on. All right, but it has shed a light on the value of what's most important in life, right? togetherness, cooperation, mutual respect, our own personal well-being. You know, we're reading books, we're embracing downtime, we're connecting with our friends on Zoom and happy hours. You know, we're reaching out to loved ones on social media and finding some solidarity within our networks. Let's not forget, though, that there cannot be darkness without light. Together, we are stronger and growing closer each and every day. Okay, so industry companies, they've pivoted. You know, I'm so sick of that word. You hear it all the time. But I want you to know that you don't have to pivot. Some companies decided to say, okay, what everybody's doing, maybe I should be doing it too. Not necessarily. We have to make sure that we look at our business model and look at it to say, am I able to pivot? Am I able to do these things? If not, some people decide, look, I'm going to pull back. I'm going to pull back all the reins. I'm going to, you know, keep my expenses tight, and I'm going to wait for this to subside. And that's okay. Okay. Because it's okay to just say, pause and reset. That's fine. But there are companies that are doing things like Elegant Affairs. They are a full service luxury type caterer in New York, really working on the Hamptons in Long Island. And we were on the phone, I guess mid-March or late March. And we were just talking about like, what the hell's going on here? And we got into talking about getting groceries, and Instacart is not delivering and things like that. And she says, you know what? You know, here I am, I have these walk-ins, I have all these different purveyors I could use. Why don't I make my own grocery store delivery service for my clients? And that's exactly what she did. She set up, not that they could come in and go shopping, but what she did do is that she set up a delivery service like Instacart. Now, she's busy, but is she making money? No. But she's the type of person that needs to be doing something. And she did get the PPP money, so she wants to keep her people busy. But that was one way that she did pivot. Here's another one. This was Natasha Miller's company is Entire Productions, and they are a entertainment company. And she does, you know, amazing things all over, but they're in-person events, right? But the Business Insider did an article on her. It says, one Bay Area event planner makes a tech-based business pivot, right? There's Natasha. Now, she said she's being looked at as the experts now, and we're getting requests for proposals from all over the world because thankfully virtual events can be done wherever you are, okay? She says now the time zones are a little difficult. She said, we hunkered down and learned immediately. We were the first to market, smart, with a variety show that was proof of concept, but also a creative way for us to dig our way out of feeling so bad. And I think that is a lot of how people are pivoting. You may be pivoting. You may be doing different things. I know Dominic has a restaurant outside now, I think. I'm not sure about that. Sorry, Dominic. All right, all seated. I was talking to Sandy Hammer right before this, and after this, she calls me up and she says, I think I have the technology to do a social distancing tool in All Seated, which is a floor plan program, which all you have to do is to place your tables in there and they socially distance for you, and your buffets and your guests and the walking and the egresses and everything. Very clever. So this is also free to the subscribers. So make sure you take a look at that. Also, Elegant Affairs is doing Memorial Day barbecue in a box. You know, Marcia Selden is doing a bunch of, very luckily, virtual gala attendees are doing these box lunches. Are they making money? They're covering cost, but they're keeping themselves busy, and they're waiting for this to turn. All right, Sasa Souza took it one other way. Instead of doing B2C, business to consumer, she's doing B2B, business to business. And what she's doing is that she is targeting other designers in the area to make a transition of being, you know, I think she calls it, 21-day creative business challenge. And that's what she's doing to be creative. All right, everybody, now you can put on your microphones and your videos. So I want to see all you people. All right, let's see, we're going to stop the sharing. There you are. Okay, everybody, how are you? All right. Good. All right, so if you want to put it in gallery view now, so you can see all your little blocks. Hi, you guys look great. Okay, so I'm not going to, because there's so many on the call, I'm not going to ask all of you, but I would love if you can tell me what you guys are doing. Dominic, I'm going to start with you, or somebody from Drexel Brook, because I know I screwed that up.
Are you picking on me already, Merle?
Got bestie. Good, Dominic, tell them what you're doing to pivot.
Well, you know, it's a multi-front battle. It's doing some of the things that our colleagues are doing with curbside delivery and pickup. Also, taking events that were already scheduled at our venue that went virtual and offering the same meal package as if they were coming to our venue for pickup. And that worked successfully on 3 different events. And now it's forming partnerships with venues who, because of the capacity limitations, can't host weddings or events because they're limited in capacity, where our ballroom is 15,000 square feet. So it gives us more of an opportunity to cater for, and if I don't know, I'm in Pennsylvania, so we're capped at 250, including DJs, bands, photographers, photo booths, whoever else is in the room, and your staff. So you really bring that down to 225. So we're looking at partnerships, we're looking at contracts with the government, and anything where when you're not performing your core competency, you're looking for other things that you can do that are within your realm, but not necessarily your core competency. But forming partnerships with other venues and caterers, I think, is going to be key, especially in Philadelphia. And Merle does catering in Philly, and Philly's shut down right now. So, and we just got word today that we don't know when that's being lifted. That'll be tomorrow's, Thursday's conversation.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm sure a lot of you, and Dominic, I'm so glad I start with you because that was great. Thank you. All right, who else? You know, and if you don't start talking, you know I'm just going to point at you and say you're up. So somebody else want to jump in?
Well, I get to pick the next person.
All right, yeah, I like that idea. Go ahead, Dominic, pick your next person.
Let's see, who looks like they don't want to talk? How about Nicole? Unmute yourself.
Yeah. Okay, Nicole. But now here's what we have to do, though. When we're speaking, we have to say what your name, you can just do your first name, what company that you're from, and what state you're in, okay? So Dominic, just so everybody knows, Dominic Savino, Drexel Brook Catering and Banquet Facility that holds like 1,000 people in Philadelphia. Okay, Nicole, you're up.
Hi there. So my name is Nicole Pekenhagen. I am from the state of Canada, so not actually a state.
But I'm just trying to knock out these signals.
What's that? Sorry? Okay. And the name of my company is Gradeville Manor, and I own and manage an events venue and a catering company. So temporarily, our kitchen has actually closed just because we felt that it would be more economical to operate that way. And instead, we are now offering what we call lovely little weddings. And we're doing little weddings for groups of 10 to 50. We can host ceremonies outdoors for up to 50. and indoors for 10 to 30 guests. And we do photo shoots and other things that don't require food and beverage service, because we're not in Canada, or actually in Ontario, we're not permitted to offer food and beverage service for anyone, for any groups larger than 10. And this lovely little wedding package has actually taken off beautifully. And we have bookings some weeks. We have a dozen little weddings in a week. We have up to 4 a day, so book for 2 hour times, with an hour in between to clean and sanitize the entire facility, and then we reset for the next one.
Perfect, perfect. Katie, can you mute? Katie? Michelle, I saw your little hand go up.
So I'm in Boston and I run East Meets West Catering, and we're an off-premise caterer, but we also run an event site. And Boston, we're just being allowed to open our event site a week from yesterday. We can do up to 25 people inside, up to 100 people outside in an enclosed area. We have a beautiful patio on the waterfront, so the ocean's all around us. I'm in the process of adding a tent that will be up from as soon as my first event is until the end of September. I'm getting permission to leave a tent up, which we don't usually have, so that now we can take advantage of the fact of being able to do 100 people outside. We have canceled or postponed $2 million in business. $2 million. So it's a huge thing. We did 2 events last week, which was very exciting. One for 10 people in someone's backyard, and another for 12 people in somebody's driveway. Yay! And then, but we did it safely, and it's a start. And they paid in full, so that was good too. We have also done for all the holidays, Mother's Day, 4th of July, and Memorial Day, we did packages that were pick up, drop off, and did okay with that. Again, we are not making any money from any of this. It's just trying to
Keep yourself
keep
going.
people busy. Yeah, keep people busy and keep ourselves relevant, like
Yep.
keep our name out there.
Good.
And that's what most of my competitors are doing as well. Sadly, we've seen some places close down and are not expecting them to open, which is really, really sad for me to see. I've been doing this since 1991, so a long time, and I've been through all these different crises, and you are so right. We have never seen anything like this
Nothing.
before.
And we always
You know.
were able to bounce back. Even after 9/11, it was like, it was slow for a week or two, and then it just bounced right back. Nobody canceled or
Yeah.
postponed.
Yeah.
Crazy.
This is a whole different thing.
It is. It really is. Okay, so I'm going to ask everybody to mute your mics, because you just can't stop fiddling around. So mute your mics, and then when it's your turn to talk, then you unmute yourself. How's that? Okay, Sandy, what's going on with Checkers Catering, California? Now you have to unmute.
There we go. Sorry. What's going on with Checkers? Same type of thing. We lost hundreds of thousands of dollars in canceled events. And events are definitely, I can't foresee anything big in the future. What we've done is our crew is very minimal. Fortunately and unfortunately, most of our crew is on furlough and unemployment and have been doing fine in that regard. Some people probably are enjoying it. The core crew is working on accounts like, well, we've changed in that we're doing everything individually for clients that are still active, like Kaiser Permanente is a big client. We've been doing drop-offs for them, bag lunches, hot lunches we've made some really nice containers, really good presentation, taking them in our big rolling hot boxes and delivering them that way. PG&E is a big client. They're doing training. So we're doing a couple hundred for breakfast and lunch 5 days a week. However, the breakfast just ceased to exist for them. Kaiser's not every day. They're like once or twice a week. So we're just hanging on enough like everybody else, just to get through, and adjusting accordingly from the perspective of individuals. We do some, we did a special where it's online. It's the same thing. It's a pickup or a delivery. It's every Tuesday and Friday. And we're doing those in foil pans for like anywhere, minimum of 4 people. That's just to stay somewhat relevant. I don't know what's going to happen. That's why I'm here. Meryl, you're on mute.
Thank you.
There you go.
Karima has a hotel in Canada. Karima, do you want to chat about because the hotel, you're not getting any conferences or anything. Karima? Or maybe she doesn't want to discuss. Okay. All right. Should we move on, or does somebody else want to chat about something that they may be doing a little differently than what we've already discussed? Yes, Amy, unmute yourself.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
I'm using a new microphone on these headphones, and I guess what I want to say isn't so much what we're doing. I think we're doing a lot of the same things. We're doing daily luncheons for some businesses that have maintained that we had before. We're doing small events when they call us. We do have a weird warehouse space, so I'm doing a lot of like photo shoots, and people that are working on their marketing projects during the slowdown are like, hey, you have a big warehouse, can we bring our stuff in? So that's been kind of fun. I think what we're doing differently is the way we're talking. And so I've had some tours come through, and the bride says, well, I went here and they said, I can't do this and I can't do that and I can't do that. So one thing, and I'm hoping that we can talk more about this later today, Meryl, is that we need to talk about possibilities. So it's kind of containing what those, like for us, the Oregon Health Authority says, you can't let anybody, no more groups of 10 or dining together, and you can't have a dance floor unless there's social distancing, and there's always those unless there. So it's like really turning it around. And it's like those questions you ask us, like, what's the biggest challenge in one word? It's like trying to find a word that match that, because it's really about a new paradigm in your head. I happen to be owned and managed by a grocery store company. So I'm in this really beautiful space where my owner's like, hey, our revenue's up. We want to subsidize you, paint the walls, we'll keep everyone employed. So I know how blessed I am, but it also creates this massive vacuum when we're showing up for work every day and we don't have the same kinds of tasks. And so it's also about creating, like, what do we do with all of this energy we have? And it's very exciting times. I know how scary it is too. Yeah. And I read this really horrible article about the future of the event business. And I on the other hand, know that if we can hold out, the rebound is going to be huge. So I just wanted to say that before we get started, because I'm here with a lot of hope.
I'm glad. Okay, good. Janix, are you checking in to see if there's any questions? I see the chat going on, but I'm not sure if there's any questions. So Janix, you will pipe in if there are any questions, right?
Yes, there is one question. If you came in with your phone number, give me your name in a private message.
Okay, so what's the question?
If you came in just as a phone number, not as a name.
Oh, okay.
Could you please just give me your name so I can mark you off as attended?
Okay, in chat. Okay,
so in the chat, check the chat room. They were sharing some information about their companies. Check that and read that.
Okay. All right, good. All right, so we're going to move on.
Wait, Meryl?
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
No, there is something in the chat room that somebody has shared some things, Janice. If you want, hit chat and you can read what they've shared.
Do you want me to do that now?
No, everybody can, sorry guys, we're having a little, everybody can look at the chat themselves.
Okay.
Unless it's a question. Okay, so now we are moving back to, so So now we're moving back with everybody's mics off and everybody's videos off. Okay? All right, so now I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, we're moving on. So what is expected of us? This event industry will be scrutinized. We are going to be so scrutinized to determine how to usher in these new changes. You know, so many companies and organizations and conferences and weddings and life celebrations, they're all counting on us to rise from the ashes and bring back the events back into the spotlight. You know, after all, you know, we're social creatures. We can't be doing this continually for this virtually weddings and galas and all that. I mean, we need to gather. You know, the stay-at-home orders have made it crystal clear how much we took togetherness for granted, right? Especially as we prepare for recovery, it's time for us to create the new normal in our way. If we don't create it, if we don't do it for our industry, it's going to be done for us. And that's why it's so important that, you know, Amy was saying, we need a new narrative. We need to do that. And that's what we're going to be discussing today, because this is about sales. And I know there's a lot of owners on here, but hey, we don't have businesses without sales. And right now, our poor salespeople are twiddling their thumbs. They're rescheduling. You know, it's been a big downer right now. So I'm sure by now everybody has seen the Event Safety Alliance reopening guide. Have you guys seen this? It's amazing. It's pretty comprehensive. It addresses the health and sanitary issues that the event and venue professionals need to consider in order to protect both the guests and the staff. I mean, it's very comprehensive. You know, since there's insufficient testing and no contact tracing and no vaccine, you know, this guide is very, very detailed. And we could use this in guiding not only our employees, but our clients as well. Okay, so each state has this protect yourself from COVID. This happens to be Pennsylvania, but every state has one. And it is a good idea to make copies of this, give them to your clients, put them, you know, make them in posters and whatnot. It's very, very important. All right, so how events will change. It's gonna happen. You know, here's areas of a concern is mingling. You know, discourage mingling in close proximity without masks. I mean, okay, I know you guys are saying, but your brides are saying, there is no way I'm having a wedding where all my guests are wearing masks. Or the state may say you have to wear a mask, or your state may say you don't have to wear a mask. Your state may say temperatures. That's why this is very difficult, a class for me to teach, because there's nothing cut and dry. But each of your states has some type of reopening guide. Okay, so they want to enforce social distancing rules. They're going to require masks whenever guests are away from their tables, use lower guest counts per table. We're going to disallow self-service stations and lines of any kind. And what goes on? Some areas of
Meryl, I'm sorry to interrupt. I think we're all seeing a black screen. We can't see it.
Yes, I was just sending you that.
They were talking about it in the chat. We're not able to see your screen. I'm sorry.
Can you see it now?
No. What's on is Meryl started her. Now we can. Yes, everybody? Can everybody see now? No?
Now I just
No.
see the gallery view.
No, I didn't see anything.
Wait, so you don't see the speaker view?
No, everybody's saying black screen, black screen.
Yeah, now just the gallery view.
Gallery view.
Okay, let me try this another way. Oh, there you
Well,
go.
while you're looking for an answer,
Yeah.
is there a guide for the guide? In other words, is there a way that you would know where to get it in your state?
Oh, well,
You're back. You're back. You're back.
I'm back.
Yeah,
What do you see? Do you see me?
I see you.
Oh, you don't see my PowerPoint?
Presentation. No, just you.
You see you see my screen now?
Just you.
Oh. Okay.
You look lovely though.
To answer your question about that, each state, you have to go onto your state website. Every state has one. But if you want that events, the opening guide that I was telling you about from ESA, they'll be able to help you. It's called the Event Safety Alliance. All right, so let me share my screen again. Let me try this way. What do you see? You see my screen?
Mhm.
Yes.
You do? Okay. Hold on 1 second. Okay. All right. So this was the mingling thing. Now I got to go back. All right. Events will change. The dancing seems to be a huge issue almost in every state. So it's very, very important, but I'm going to be talking about it later, but I think that the most important thing is know what your state is saying. And I know in our state, Dominic and a few others have come together and hired a lobbyist to help the rest of us. So we're all on the same page, and they're helping rewrite the opening guidelines, so which has been wonderful. But I think there's still an issue with the dance floors, but every state.
Women, so nice.
I'm sorry?
You, not them, you. You and Mom should just go sit in the pool.
It's too hot.
Okay, Damien, Janice, can you mute everybody, please?
I'm doing it.
Okay. All right. So, okay, the narrative. So my suggestion is that we need to get together with our industry professionals, because we have to be on the same page. We have to know, because if a caterer is saying something about the dance floor and the DJ is saying something else that's different and the planner saying something else totally different and then the venue saying something different, what are we telling our clients? So we all have to be on the same page and we all have to sell it the same way. And I would suggest that we all follow the state's rules to a T, because none of us could afford to be shut down. Okay, so that's really, really all right.
Meryl?
Yes?
One of your guests, Roe Chiala, I know I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, I'm sorry, had something very important. They did a coalition in Connecticut, a 10-page protocol guide that they sent to the Department of Economic Development, who work with the doctors to write the state protocols. We wanted to prove that they could trust us to have safe parties.
Wow, that's great. Wow, that is great. So Raleigh, do you want to unmute yourself, and where you stand with this right now? Maybe you have to unmute him, Janix.
The name is Roe, R-O-E.
Oh, Roe.
C-H-I-
from Connecticut, festivities.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Roe, unmute yourself, Roe.
I'm looking for. No, she doesn't hear it.
Yesterday. Well, maybe she can come back and then discuss it with us. All right, then the other thing how events are going to change is contact tracing. I mean, what's going to be, there's nothing I could teach you on this because it's ever evolving, right? And every state is different. And we're hearing from our government how it's changing from one day to the next. I just think that we have to be totally on top of things. Yes, when I was speaking with Rose, she did say that she was very, very involved in rewriting this. And I know Dominic is very involved. So I am sure each of your states, somebody is very involved with it. Try and find out who it is and be in the know. I know that Dominic has gotten all of the caterers and venues together, and we're really having this conversation. So we're all on the same page. We're not competitors anymore. We're allies. which is a wonderful thing. Okay, so what we did for our clients, especially the social clients, we did this little PDF, and it just basically says what we're going to do and what we ask you to do. And it is kind of a puff piece, but it really dives in on the information. So I'm going to quickly go through this. It explains what our governor is saying and how we proceed to open and how we do in different phases. And I also put in a link for them so they could go directly to it, because it's just not me saying these things. Then we say, festivities, events is back on track. So we talk about the 3 different phase roadmap, and we're explaining that. We're also saying that we're here to see this through safely to the other side, giving some verbiage here. We're also letting them know, and everybody should be doing this, either the Surf Save, and every employee should be doing this, or the 360 training. This is very, very important. And since your people have to do it, you might as well say, this is what we're doing. Anything that you can do to guest feeling that they're protected is really important. These are just our own personal things. Okay. We ask of our hosts, setting up the event for success. So this is what we're asking our hosts to be doing, is responding effectively to COVID and share the responsibilities. By working together, we can overcome this challenge. So we're asking them, they've got to be part of this as well. Now, I'm not worried about our corporate clients, because I think our corporate clients are really concerned about this, because they don't know where their life ends.
Guys, are you making?
Okay. Janice, just remember, when you mute everybody, you mute me. So make sure you unmute me. Okay, moving on. Then we go into how we're keeping our team and our visitors safe. So we go into the air filtrations and the meetings and cleanup and food prep and close contact, avoid it. We talk about these different things and how we're doing our tastings and what we're going to be doing, and we'll be talking about tastings in a little bit. How we're 100% COVID safety certified team. This is really important. You have to do this for your employees anyway, so tell everybody that you're doing this. Let them know, let them feel safe, that they could feel that, and their guests in that way. Transmission barriers, adapt operations to keep everyone safe on location, and different things that we're doing. This is available to you all. So I will give this to you. You might want to put it in your own words, but it's pretty generic. We put in the Pennsylvania restaurant promise, which I'm sure every state has their state restaurant promise. Important. We also let them know about the physical distancing tool that we use. So this puff piece is really just to make them aware that we're on top of it. We get it. We will keep your guests safe. And I think that is going to be the big sales thing right now, because you know what? We used to be saying, all about our awards and how great we are, and we won this, and we've cooked here, and we've done this, and whatever. It's not about that anymore. We're not touting those things anymore. We're touting how we're going to keep their guests safe. What it is. All right. So meeting new expectations. I know Ellen Hart is a corporate caterer, Tasty Catering. Ellen, can you unmute yourself, Ellen? And can you talk about, because you were just doing basically corporate catering that has probably stopped completely, didn't it? Do we have Ellen?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can. Ellen, how are things over there?
Well, we're in the state of Illinois, and Tasty Catering is primarily a corporate caterer with we do have a social and wedding component to our business segment, but we focus primarily on corporate America, and during the summertime, a very robust picnic season. So early on in June, I conducted a customer advisory panel where I gathered up some very loyal, dedicated, will tell you the straight scoop clients, and got them all together on a Zoom, and wanted to hear their concerns because we were starting into our phase 2, which was very slow return to work. Thinking I was going to hear that they're afraid of this, they needed assurances about that, they wanted to know how we were going to deliver, et cetera, et cetera. And what I actually found out is, yeah, we're not planning to come back to work. We're not planning any events where there will be no picnics. There will be no daily drop-off. There will be no holiday parties. And so, I had to put on my pretty professional face and thank them very much for their honesty and their candor. But the hard reality is, in Illinois, we don't expect to be at full open until there's a vaccine. Right. So right now, we're going to hold at phase 4 for quite a long time, I'm afraid, which best scenario is keeping that guest count at 50.
So Ellen, what are you doing? So are you branching into different aspects of catering, or are you just holding tight?
Yeah, we found a nice niche market. Of course, we pivoted like everyone else did to individual meals, heavily promoted box lunches. We're promoting individual meals for holidays for those companies that think they may want to be able to have a holiday party. We're aggressively hitting the ground looking for the business segments that are actually up and running in our area. Primarily those are manufacturers, because this is Illinois and we're a very blue collar state. So, the ivory tower clients have maybe stepped back, but we know stepping in will be, the segment of business that is still considered essential and maybe even has to ramp up their operations. In the hopes that, the employees will need to be fed, they'll need to be rewarded, or whatever the case might be. So yeah, the barbecue in the box, we're doing a drive-through picnic in another week for 600 people. Is hospital picnic because they won an award. So the business is out there. You just have to change the way you approach it and consider that everything is on the table. Or if you want to look at it the other way, nothing is off the table. So constant communication with your clients, letting them know what you're doing, what's new, soliciting their ideas and taking it and seeing if you can make it their reality is just so completely critical that it's actually kind of an exciting, albeit sad time to be able to, put your creative juices to work and not think of this as something that's a bad thing, but rather how can it actually help to improve your company overall?
Yep, that's good. Wow, so you really did pivot. What's good to know, I love to hear that you're doing these large events for 600, and what I really love to hear is you're not waiting for the business to come in. You're going after it and working with your clients to be creative, which is wonderful. Which is really, truly wonderful. Thank you, Ellen. I appreciate that.
My pleasure.
Yeah. So working from home, it may be the new normal, for many employers, because they may be making a permanent shift to work from home and reduce office space. Maybe no more brick and mortar, right? Companies have been forced to embrace remote working, due to the stay-at-home orders, but now corporations are seeing proof that productivity, it doesn't suffer. And employees may not need to return to offices in order to be productive. Nationwide announced a couple weeks ago that they're making a permanent transition to hybrid work model. They're keeping their 4 corporate offices. They'll remain open across the country while the majority of the other locations will continue to work from home. So what does that do for events? What does that do for our industry, the catering company, daily lunches and office cafes? And what about the AV people and the rental companies and the florists and, the furniture company? I mean, there's just so many of us that are affected by this work at home. And I know my daughter, she was telling me that she works in tech, and it's a big company. And I think she said 50% of them are going to be working from home. So that means the 50%, because they do daily lunches all the time, that's cut in half. I'm like, wow. It is truly, it's truly disconcerting, I think. All right, so what are our events going to look like? Well, there's a few things that we could think about. Tech is going to be here to stay, I think. These new tech solutions, they are definitely here to stay. If you jump on social media, there's no shortage of screenshots from virtual hangouts like Zoom and Skype and Facebook Messenger and House Party, which I love. They all provide us with channels to, connect with our friends and family and colleagues and clients, while we're all staying at home. But don't expect this to change on the other side of this crisis. If anything, expect technology to take us to new spaces. Okay, so right now we're going to talk about the big takeaway, because I think I'm giving you a break. So now, Janix, if you can put everybody's mic on and their videos. I'll pause my sharing.
Yeah, I think they're already all unmuted. They just need to turn on their mic. Am I frozen? Yeah. Damien, you got to help me with this. She's asking me to unmute, but they're all already unmuted, it says.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay, here we go. All right, guys. So we don't really need to talk about the big takeaway right now. However, I think that what I would like to talk about to open it up to you guys is, from this last segment, do you have anything that you want to share, add, complain, get off your chest, anything? We can do that. Just have to unmute yourself. Anybody? All right, you know what? I'm not giving you a break now. Do you think you need a break now? Shake your head if you think no. No. Okay, let's keep going. We'll break later. All right, so I got to go back sharing my screen. I know you don't think so, but I've really become a big techie now. Just saying. Do you see my screen though? Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Okay, the hybrid event. So let's think hybrid. It's merging live celebration with digital platforms. Look, I know you guys have all heard this or read something about this, but even imagine a fundraiser You know, the fundraisers got hit because they really count on that one fundraiser. Mute everybody. Okay, right? So they really rely on that fundraiser. So what happens if they can do a fundraiser for 50 people, 100 people, 250 people, let's say, but then they actually have the party. They have a band, they have the music, they have the food, they have everything, the flowers, the decor, everything. Then 1,000 other people are invited to this. So this is a hybrid event. Now, what does it do to the rest of our industry? For right now, it's not doing much because you know, the band's going to be there, the decor, whatnot, but it's only for a small group of people. However, they can still have these events. And then they have these massive screens where all 1,000 people are on these screens and they're interactive. And, you know, is it ideal? No, but, you know, think about it. These really open up our opportunities for these fundraisers. And I bet you these fundraisers may take this step much further because they will get more donations throughout the event and silent auctions and things like that. You know, this isn't new because wedding couples have been live streaming events for years now. So virtual events actually enables brands to connect with remote audience around the globe via the internet, right? But nothing can compete with the power of face-to-face. We all know that. But there's multiple strategies that we can employ to engage this remote audience, from simple webcasting to virtual events to hybrid events and small multi-site events. I know a caterer in New York was doing a fundraiser, and they did those box lunches. I showed a picture of it earlier. And what they did, it was for 1,000 people, 1,000 people, and it was remote. So they were able to have their 10 people party. At this time in New York, it was only 10 people. Yet 1,000 people, because I know there was 1,000 because in the area of New York, because they picked up, the fundraiser picked up 1,000 boxes of food that they picked up, and then the guests came to their location and picked up their food. Worked. You know, did they make a ton of money on it, even though it was 1,000 orders? No, but it's still something. Okay. So, you know, the public's restricted to travel, and, you know, we get that. So, you know, these organizations and associations, they've been faced with a significant revenue loss, you know, in canceling events. And as this evolves, many shows have decided to either postpone or either, you know, explore virtual options. I know NACE, they canceled their 2020 conference. Canceled it. You know, that's a money revenue for them. You know, they're nonprofit. They need to keep going. They had to cancel it. All right. So, as event pros, we need to jumpstart this and really start thinking strategically, because if we're going to be in this event world, okay, it's the 5 Ps. So the 5 Ps are people, pricing, placement, promotion, and partners, right? We need to have these pre-planning strategies, how to develop or translate existing event goals. Now, this just goes back to what Ellen was saying. She's talking to the client. They have these existing goals of events. So how are we going to take this event and turn it into a hybrid type event where we're still part of it, right? Because if we don't think of these things, somebody else is going to think of it for them, and then they're going to eliminate us, which we can't be eliminated. So we've got to think of these things. So kudos to Ellen and her team. They're thinking, how are we going to be part of this? Because our clients still have these goals that they have to do, right? Okay, so then you have the 5 Ps, and then the post-event whether virtual events will fade with the decline of coronavirus. Some will. I think most will. Okay, so here is another pivot. This is Russell Morin, who is a caterer. Amy, you probably know them. I think they work in primarily Newport, Rhode Island, but I think they do Boston as well. And what I loved about this is that they pulled in other industry professionals, and they targeted their top client base. And this is what they did. I'm hoping you can hear this. Hold on, let me just make sure. Yeah.
I'm a little surprised when I heard it coming down the street, but thank you. Russ, you always do something special, so we appreciate it.
We have Joe Perry from 1031 bringing an amazing character to life. We have Luke from LRE who's going to DJ and really bring the excitement. And we have Mike from Artistic Weddings that's going to capture it all. We're really excited to put a smile on everyone's face, and we know how important it is, especially during these times.
I thought it was so awesome. It was so fun to have the music, the dancing, brought all the neighbors out. Just an awesome way to bring a little bit of brightness to the holiday weekend. I think that's so important in a time like this, just to bring people together and bring a little bit of joy.
Pretty clever, huh? The news media picked that up. They didn't charge their clients. They just showed up, high-end neighborhood, by the way, but they showed up and they did this fun little thing, and it was warm. It was really, and it was taken really well, because when this turns around, they're not going to forget about it. I thought it was great. Great.
Meryl?
Right. Yes?
We have Jensen who wants to know, please, what are the 5 Ps?
Oh. 5 Ps is for people, what we have, this is what we have to think about, are the 5 Ps, are the people, pricing, placement, promotion, and partners. Since virtual events are unproven and generally new to the marketplace, understanding these 5 Ps are critical to creating your reimagined events. We have to take those 5 Ps when we're thinking about this reimagining event. I hope that answers your question. Okay, yeah? All right, so David Merrill, he is the owner of AOO Events, who is a designer and event planner, and I do believe he does production too, in LA. And he just launched with his team this virtual engagement strategy. So it's a real-time virtual event format that is designed with a full set of tools to create engagement. And so it's a powerful as in a live person event, right? Now, these virtual events, have you guys seen any of them? I was on one, and they had a keynote speaker that I felt I was in the seat. They had opening entertainment. They had all these things, which concerns me a little bit, because I felt like I was there and I didn't have to travel to the event, and I wasn't going to travel anyway until there's a vaccine. Not that I'm in the exposed category, but I just don't want to travel until there's a vaccine. So, but I felt like I was there. So that concerns me about all these conferences and things like that, because I still want to go, because that's how I network. And I think everybody feels that way. But until there's a vaccine, I do believe this is the way it's going to happen. You know, it's just a matter of reimagining them to create the same impact and engagement. This is actually this AV company here. He does these, it's the same type of thing. I did it for one of my think tanks, and he actually had like an opening speaker, and he had some music entertainment involved. He just wanted me to see how it would go, and it was pretty awesome. Okay, so I don't want to talk about this too much because I don't want this to be a thing. That's why I'm saying, you guys, we've got to be really creative and start talking about how we are going to take these 5 Ps and reinvent the event. Yeah. All right. So here is your next question. Do you worry that digital events will cannibalize the face-to-face events in the future? Go to your phones. Okay, now that you've answered that, here's the PCMA, which is the Professional Convention Management Association. They asked this of their readership, and 62% said no. That's encouraging. 24% said yes, and 14, I don't know what the other is. But they're not that concerned. But does that mean it's not going to cannibalize the events until there's a vaccine? I don't know. All right, next question. Do you anticipate that there will be pent-up demand to meet face-to-face once the pandemic is behind us? Or do you worry that people will still be concerned about close contact and opt not to travel? Put your little thing. You know, my niece is getting married. This niece that I'm very, very close to, and I can't imagine ever missing her wedding. But her wedding was in May originally. Then it was postponed to October, which she still wants to have it. It's in Vermont, which is a pretty good state, but people are coming from all over. And she absolutely doesn't want anybody wearing masks. And I'm thinking, do I really want to go to this event and put myself at risk like that? And I think a lot of people are thinking like that. Okay, so the PCMA results, 48% said they believe that people will hesitate to travel, be hesitant to travel. 27, but they're 27 saying, yeah, but there's going to be pent up demand. Well, that's for sure. So these are the meeting planners, and the meeting planners that are bringing conventions to our cities. This is how they feel. And I hope everybody is you don't have to be a member, but to get on their newsletter list, because it's very, very fascinating what's going on, because ultimately it's a domino effect, you guys. Whatever the meeting planners, corporate meeting planners are bringing to our business. I know we have a couple hotels on here, and I know you guys have been devastated by this, because, you know, they're all meetings are just canceled. It's not easy. Okay. All right. So your brand right now is probably more important than ever before, right? Because, you know, there's many factors that keep your brand afloat, but you can't take a step back. You know, have you noticed why celebrities are all over social media with their music and dancing TikToks, and they're all over the place, you know, everywhere. You know why? Because they know the power of branding. They don't want to be forgotten. And this is why it is so important. Your brand is so important. Now, even if you're not doing any business at all, you could still be posting things like, you know, temperature checks at the office. I know we posted our staff meeting that was in the kitchen. Everybody was 6 feet apart and everybody had masks on, but we posted it saying, you know, we're doing our thing. Business as usual. We're moving on. You know, some people are posting what they're doing for the frontline heroes and some people are even posting old pictures of the summer and spring and fall weddings. Do you remember when? And we can't wait for this, you know. So it is very, very important to keep your brand going. And it's okay to reference what we're going through. You know, I saw one design company. They did a, I don't know, it was kind of, every week, one of their employees were talking about what they missed most about the events. And it was really, really cool. So what if we do that? I mean, it's just, your readership will really appreciate that, because it will come back, you guys, and we don't want to be forgotten. So, you know, but in the game of sales, your brand is what draws in leads and builds the know, trust, and like, which is so important, which is necessary to secure new clients while you maximize revenue, right? I know we're—
Meryl?
Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Is it okay to ask a question now about what you're talking?
Yeah.
Okay, just in response to your suggestion that we might be a little nostalgic, posting pictures, we want to get back there. Can you say more about that in realm of like empathy too? Because I know people are really sensitive about what's happening with COVID, and I guess I don't want to be that eager beaver event center and caterer that's like, okay, time to party again. So maybe some strategies around how that might look like, or
just off the top of my head, I think that people talking, like your employees or even you, just getting up and with photos passing by and just say, and be nostalgia and say, we can't wait to get back to normal, because guess what? Everybody can't wait to get back to normal. So I don't think that is actually being too aggressive, right? Does anybody else have something to add to that, or maybe they've done something? And I know that who am I talking to? I can't even see you. Where are you? Who am I talking to?
Amy.
Oh, Amy at the venue.
Yeah, in Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what do you mean? What have you been doing now?
Well, we're putting out some promotional materials just to get people. So I have a background in eligibility. I'm going to back up a little bit, because I read through the Oregon Health Authority's recommendations. I'm like, boom, boom, boom. I get it. I frame it. I'm like ready to go. And I look around the room, meeting my colleagues in the community, and everybody's like confused and needs a lot more support. And I think for me, it's like when I go out and I started to approach the Eugene Chamber and some of my best customers, like, okay, you ready? We have this meeting tentatively on the calendar. We can meet your needs. We can do this. And there's kind of like this, are you sure it's safe? And so we thought, well, maybe we need to soften our approach.
You do. I mean, just like, yeah. And I know that you were just explaining to it, but I think that if you take the 5 Ps and talk to them and say, look, I know you have these goals that, you know, they have retirement dinners, they have these things that they have to get done. They have employee appreciation. I mean, they have to do these things. So, and that's how you approach it. Say, what are these events that you were going to be doing? And let's see how we can reconvene. Just like what Ellen was saying, how they turned some of their events that they were already having, that were already on the books, and turn them into a different type of an event. So
the idea,
go ahead.
Yeah, the idea I have is because I was like, if anyone is willing to take a chance to host an event to boost their business, it should be me. Like, I have the ability also to host an event at cost. So I can was thinking about having a party, inviting my best customers and some community leaders, and putting on an event where we could kind of virtually show them how to safely host an event, while at the same time maybe honor some essential workers or do something that's important to the community right now. Maybe turn it into a fundraiser.
That's brilliant.
But I want to make sure that the way I communicate that invitation isn't so much a like, come and look at me, but it's more like finding that relevancy and making sure people, I know they trust me, but making sure it doesn't feel too much like a used car sale or something like that.
This is what I would do then. Forget an actual invitation. It's all a phone invitation. And so you're picking them. Look, I hand selected a few people. You're one of them.
Right.
I want to do this event. I don't want it to come off as, I'm pushing people, but I want them to know how we can still do safe events. What do you think? Whenever you put something into a client's, and you're asking for advice, they love that because they feel special and they want to help you. But if they just read, oh God, Amy's having an event, she's really pushing, pushing this, it's different. So I would definitely, and you can't have that many people anyway. So I would definitely pick your best clients and pick up the phone and actually call them and ask for their advice, because that works well.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And my next thing was just to get specific with your audience. Okay, unless you're a mega brand like Google or Apple, the broad approach is not effective. It's not. And I like what you're doing, Amy, because you're targeting what you want. You're targeting those clients. You're targeting what you want out of this. And that's exactly what you have to do. You can't just throw spaghetti and hope it sticks. I don't know if that's expression, I'm mixing them up, but the point is that you just don't want to throw it all out and see what comes in. You want to really plan it, the 5 Ps. Plan it and really go after what you want. And I keep going back to Ellen and that hospital thing. I mean, that was really smart of what she did. They were thinking, how are they going to maneuver through this? Yeah. Okay. So, we got to throw out these former plans that we had. This regular way of marketing, it's really it is really this one-on-one marketing. It's truly, truly target marketing and communicating this across your whole organization, and have your salespeople and everybody have this, that you are communicating to individuals now and your target client. Has everybody done an avatar of who your best client is? You should. And actually, maybe I'll do a seminar on that, because that is what an exercise that is. That is something that if you can really target, because everybody says, yeah, I know who my target. I ask them, who's your target market? Brides. That's not your target market. Who is your target market? Or corporate events, or we do delivery. Who is your target market? Who are they? Because you're not for everybody. So we do need to do a client avatar. All right. So, by the way, I was talking to this caterer in Texas, and when they were reopening, I think they're closed now, but when they were reopening, and she was freaking out because her wedding couple was going for this full blown. And that these wedding couples will yes us to death and then do whatever they want. So her concern was her staff. She was very, very concerned about her staff. And so she told me that she was going to hire a temp service to do it. And I was like, oh, okay. And not my first choice to do, but I told her that. And the next thing I know, she puts that on Facebook. On Facebook, she says, to protect our team, we will be having our first event and it is at, she even said the venue, and we will be replacing our team with temp service. And I'm like, I called her up, I'm like, oh my God, get that down. She says, I'm in the process of getting it down. All her clients kept calling. That's how fast social media is. They were like, I don't want temp service. So that totally backfired on her, because what she was originally thought, that she was being the great employer of protecting her team, but she didn't look at it both ways. So we got to be really careful about what we do post. Okay, let's move on. All right. I'm going to tell you a little story now. Some of you may have heard this, but it's worth it. Okay. So I saw on Facebook, where I get my news, and I'm flipping through the news feed, and I see that, Amazon is having a business seminar. right in my area, right at the DoubleTree or in King of Prussia. So I thought, oh, I'll do that because I'm always been very fascinated with the workings and the model of Amazon, totally. But then they were talking about they have these storefronts, and I have some books, and I have my Triangle program, you know. So I thought, you know, maybe I need a storefront. So I went to the seminar, and I go into the DoubleTree, and I'm sitting right in the front row, and there's no stage, so the speaker is directly in front of me. So I'm sitting here, and here's the speaker. And he's from New York. His name is Harold. And he's very animated. Like he talks with his hands. Like, and as he's talking with his hand, his shirt rises up. So as he's talking with his hand, his shirt rises up, his zipper's down. I can see things. So I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? So I put it on Facebook. I did. I put it on Facebook and I was like, what should I do? Oh my, oh my, oh my, oh my. I'm sitting at the Amazon Business Seminar in the front row. The speaker is very animated and very close to me. Okay, I'm just going to spit it out. Every time he raises his hand, which is often, I can see directly into his pants. Yes, his zipper is wide open and he's not wearing undies. I'm doing everything I can not to look. Should I tell him? Okay, you guys, as soon as I post this, 163 comments and likes and different things can pop it up. You know, I could, you know, I can't even get that on a regular post, but this was like immediately. So they're saying, yes, tell him, you know, play music on your phone and imagine you're at a show. Some people are saying, you know, photos or video or it didn't happen. So I thought that was pretty funny. And now I'm realizing that I'm spending all my time on Facebook. And how rude of me because I am a speaker. So, but the one that said photo or video or it didn't happen, that bothered me. So I'm still sitting in the front row and I'm sitting next to this girl that I don't know. And I said, let's do a selfie. So I got my selfie stick out, but I didn't really do a selfie with the two of us. I did a selfie to his pants. And this is what I did. Now this is the PG version. So this is what I posted. And so then I decided, you know, this is awful. I really do have to tell him. So I didn't have anything with me. I just grabbed something out of my briefcase. So I wrote him a note. And the note said, Dear Mr. Speaker, I just want you to know that your fly is open and I can see things. So he takes it. I just kind of give it to him. And he takes it thinking, I thought that he would just turn around and button up and continue with this thing. Oh, no. He didn't. What he did was he read it out loud and then he calls me up. Now, I think he thought he was going to embarrass me, but no, I'm from the Northeast. I don't embarrass very easily. But it was pretty funny and everybody was laughing and it's over, right? So the next day, by the way, I decided I did not want the business seminar. I mean, I liked the business seminar, but I didn't want the storefront. So the next day at 10 o'clock, my phone rings and I have to answer my phone because it's my business line. So I answer the phone and guess what? It's Harold. So he started asking me if I was embarrassed by him pulling me up in front. And I was like, oh no, please. You know, I don't get that embarrassed. And now I'm thinking, oh gosh, he's going to try and sell me on this storefront. So he asked me, he said to me, Meryl, why do you think the storefront is not for you? Good question. So I said, And I thought about it. And I said, well, I'm a speaker and I have books and DVDs to sell, but I'm not so sure I want to deal with the upkeep, you know? And then Harold said, oh, it's not, the upkeep's not bad at all. It's so easy. Then he changed the subject. But he didn't. He started talking about, both of us started talking about funny things that happened at our speaking gigs. And, you know, I was actually on the phone with him for 15 minutes. All right, what's the moral of the story? This long story has one little moral. All right, I'll tell you. The moral of the story is, you know what? No, all right, I'll tell you. The moral of the story is you got to tell, he asked me a question that made me think, right? Now, actually, it was an open-ended question, which was great, but it made me think why I did not want it, because I'm a speaker and too much trouble. And you know, now he could have gotten in deeper if he really wanted to sell it. But my point is that he asked me this open-ended question. Okay, now we're going into other things. All right. Why and how industry partners must sell the new narrative together. We touched on that and how important it is. And I don't even have to go through it anymore, because if one client is talking to one of our, the DJ, whatever, and we're all saying different things, they're going to walk all over us. We've got to be a unified front, guys. Okay, so policies and procedures that need to change. Yes. Okay. Your vehicle load-in, your load-in and outset. I mean, so what you have to do is take every one of your policies right now, and hopefully you have a policies and procedure binder, and you're going to need to COVIDize it. Yeah. So you have to, so for an example, we have a sales manual for our sales team. And it says, you know, walk into this door and put the key code in. Then we have to add, okay, how are we going to make this COVID? Okay, and then take the wipe and wipe after yourself. Then they turn the answer machine on. Then how are we going to make this COVID? You know, so we're taking everyone. That's the easiest way to make your policies and procedures standardize, right? So you want to do this to the event service and the bar service and the food stations and the clearing. And then if your hotel, the rooms, I mean, everything. By the way, I was talking to somebody that is getting all of their, especially for venues, but they're getting their how-tos of how they're keeping COVID clean by the different hotels in the area, like the big ones, like the Hiltons and the Radissons and all the big ones, Marriott's. They're taking that and they're COVIDizing it for their venue. They're clever. Okay. Any questions on that? The venue tours. I'm not there yet. Hold on. I have notes. Okay, so venue tours, we've seen a lot of different things in the past. People are doing virtual venue tours, which I'm loving. For one of our exclusives, that's all we do now, and that's all I'm going to do for the future. Hey, look, thanks to the real estate business, these 3D tours that you're walking through things is just fabulous. And why not? Why not? Okay, so I have this SOP for tours and site inspections. And I want to give it to you guys because the way it works is that tours will be by appointment and limit to 4 people per appointment. If you guys don't already have this, I know it's probably this late in the game for this, but I have something that is really written up that it is perfect to use. Now you have to adapt it to your sites. Now that's even when you're doing walkthroughs at venues or whatever. Just take it and just redo it for your own place. Client meetings. Oh, did I miss the client meetings? Same thing with client meetings. Look, if you guys aren't all into Zoom right now, and wouldn't that be great if all client meetings will continue on Zoom? Yay, at least the second, third, and fourth ones. Wouldn't that be great? But Zoom meetings, and I think everybody is so used to Zoom and how how easy it is and how convenient, that I do believe that for salespeople, there's going to be a resurge with client meetings continuing with this. Now, salespeople, their biggest challenge is time, right? A salesperson never has enough time. And could you imagine doing a sales meeting that you don't have to drive to, that you don't have to set up for if you don't have to drive, that you don't do anything, you just go into the meeting? It works. It works. It works. Okay. I'm going to send you this template. There's a couple different templates that I'm going to send you after this.
Carol, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Is Brooke. I just was wondering about the.
Oh, wait, you have to say who you are.
Sorry, I'm Brooke with JGL, and I just had a question about the virtual venue tours. Is there? I just would love to kind of get an idea of the cost for setting that up, how long it might take to set that up, and is there a company that you think is really great to work with?
A lot of DJs have pivoted to that. And not DJs, I'm sorry, videographers have pivoted to that. And I know a client that has definitely used their videographer and did it because there are many companies that do that. And all you have to do is to go in the real estate area for that. However, we feel that the videographers know our business so much better. They know what to capture that you know, a bride and groom will want to come down these stairs, and let's do that type of thing. So I would definitely talk to your videographers, and but the cost is anywhere between $5,000 and $10,000. It could go more. However, that money is you'll get it back. You'll get it back. The other thing, which I'll be talking about later, is All Seated has these VR glasses. Oh my gosh, that's a game changer. Do you know what do you know what I'm talking about, Brooke? These VR glasses?
Yeah, I do.
They're the coolest things, and I'll go into that. But this way, you can have all of your venues in one set of a VR glass, and then goggles, and then you're telling your client, okay, this is Greystone Hall, and would you like to see it set up for 150? Oh.
Wow.
What, on your iPhone? There it is. Oh, would you like to see it with red chairs? Press the button on your iPhone. Oh, would you like to see it square tables? And then, so they see that. Then they're walking. As they're walking, they're meandering through the rooms. Go fig. It is the coolest thing. It is so, so cool. Now that is, even if you don't have all these venues, what I suggest is doing it for your really top venues and actually paying the money. And I'm not sure exactly how much it is, but it totally is worth it. It's totally paid for itself. Totally. I'll connect you with them. But anyway, and I'll show you a clip. Okay.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. All right, so the venue. All right, so when we're doing these tours, you have to be firm, but you can't be a drill sergeant about it. I mean, not only tours, this is for the event. So often I hear from people that, and Amy, you're not one of them, but I hear that everybody's doing their thing, but the venue doesn't care what they do because they want to book the client. They're saying to them, I don't care if you don't wear a mask. I don't care if you do that. I don't care about the dance floor. They're saying all this. And what's happening is coming back to us and saying, well, the venue said they didn't care if we had more than 10 people on a dance floor. The venue said we didn't have to X out an area for 10 people to dance. The venue said, so we've got to educate these venues because right now we don't know what lawsuits are going to happen and who is responsible or liable. We really don't. And even if some people say there's no way because of contact tracing, how could it be traced back to us? I know brides are even saying that. How could they actually trace it back to my wedding? Again, anyway. So we want to make sure that the venues follows the rules. Will they follow them? And will wedding couples follow the rules? I know corporate will. Corporate is very good because they're concerned not only about their people and their clients and liability. And will the industry pros follow the rules? Okay, what time is it? We're going to open this up. I'm going to stop my share. There's all my people. There you are. Okay. All right. So let's talk about this. Is anybody having issues with not the industry partners not following rules of what has to happen or anything about this? Who wants to start? You know, if you don't speak up, that means I'm going to pick on you. Come on. All right, Ashley Hamilton, you're up. Unmute yourself, Ashley. Oh my God, you guys, come on. This is interactive. All right, I'm moving on. Kim. Kim Savino, that's you. Unmute yourself.
Ask the question again.
Okay, the question is, but you're a venue and you really, you play by the rules. So I don't know if this is an actual good question for you because you will not allow your industry partners to do things that, so I'm not going to use that question for you. I'm going to save you.
Okay. Come back.
Yeah, you come back. All right, Samantha Bishop, you're up.
So, you know, we have meetings all the time about policies and procedures. We've got a restaurant as well that has done decent through this hard time. We are actually a golf course, so golf in Virginia never closed. So that brought in a lot of my missed revenue. It's kind of funny because the past 2 weeks, I guess when Virginia went into phase 2, my phone was ringing off the hook. Everybody wanted tours. They want, you know, everyone was coming out of the house. Now that we're in phase 3, everyone is booking like crazy. All of July filled up. I had a venue near me that said they couldn't host a wedding for this bride, which was scheduled for July 18th. And she came to me crying. And I guess the benefit we're getting is that I can say have, you know, 200 people. Obviously, we can't have over 250. I can have 200 people in my venue. And a lot of the brides want bigger venues. So they've gone elsewhere. Now it's all coming back to me because my venue is beautiful and I just can't fit as many people as they want. So now that we're doing smaller weddings, we're talking, you know, 50, 60 people now, sometimes 40 people. I'm getting more business, which I'm perfectly fine with, but I am asking the bride and groom what they expect. And my staff obviously is masks, gloves. We're trying to sell obviously more plated because buffet is just crazy right now. So I'm trying to take every precaution I can. I do know we have a venue that's not too far away from us. It's also a golf course, and they had decided months ago that they didn't care what the governor said, and they opened up and had weddings. And I guess they didn't get caught, but I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it's crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, Levon Scott in Oregon, what's going on with you?
Hi everyone. I'm over on the Oregon coast near Astoria. Right now I'm just looking at small personal chef style elopement dinners. I have a few weddings coming up that are 20 to 25 people, and it's definitely hard because I was on the verge of hiring an event planner and to expand before all this. So now I'm back to pretty much doing everything on my own, which is super hard. But I'm getting 3 to 4 inquiries a day. So it's exciting, but it's definitely a lot of work right now.
Yeah, you know, that I'm hearing all across the country, you guys, that everybody's getting inquiries. They're saying, look, 2021 and 22 are going to be phenomenal. We could just hold on until then, which is really, really important. And to the salespeople I'm talking to, you know, I wish I had my survey working, because I want to know how many actual salespeople are on this call, because it is very difficult for them, and they are on either salary or commission, or all commission or a draw. They have goals. They're not going to be able to meet them. This is hard, and they have bills to pay. And then it's also hard for the owners and the business managers having to pay these people and keeping them afloat. So it is very, very hard. But we can see what 2021 is going to look like, and 22, right? We just have to hold on. Karima, I want to ask you this before. I know you're a hotel and you're in Canada. Can you unmute and chit chat with us a little bit and speak on the hotel side? So I know the last time I asked her to unmute, she did, but it was too late. Okay, I'd like to talk to Ro then. Ro Challa from Connecticut.
Meryl?
Yes?
Karima says she doesn't have a microphone. She'd like to, but she doesn't have a microphone.
Oh, okay, good. All right. How about Ro? Ro, I know you're there. Okay.
I believe it's the same situation for Ro. She called in.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay.
And then she had to leave for a bit, and she's on her way back.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Janice. All right. So let's talk about tastings. Who's doing virtual tastings? Anybody? All right, let me explain it to them, because could you imagine actually this sticking? There's a lot of positives to this COVID. I mean, we're seeing some different positive things. But yes, virtual tastings, you can do it. We're offering the client to either they can pick up the ingredients and bring in their family and cook it while the chef is talking to them. Now, is it going to be the exact same food? No, but what an experience. So yeah, the chef has to do it, and also the event producer has to be on the Zoom call with them. But what fun is that? That's one way. The second way is that the chef is in the kitchen preparing the food and showing them the end product, while earlier they have picked up the food with reheating instructions. So they can taste the food and then actually see the end product of the chef actually doing it. That's fun. The third way is an in-person tasting, but we're kind of discouraging them. Remember, we're charging them a lot of money for it. And we're only limiting it to 2 people, no more than 2. All right, so it's a big option. Pick up with heating instructions along with the Zoom meeting. I love it, you guys. It's pretty good. All right, anybody doing different tastings? Nobody? What are you doing for tastings? All right, I'm going to have to talk to, all right, Drexelbrook. Somebody get from Drexelbrook, talk to me. Anthony, I picked you.
We're just going to start doing them again.
How are you doing them?
At the facility.
You are going to do
we
it.
have the space to distance them.
All right. So you are going to do it. Okay. All right. What about an off-premise caterer? Are you guys doing them? Ellen?
How did I know you were going to call on me?
Actually, we are. We're doing them two ways. We are doing them in our facility, but after hours, so to minimize the exposure to our office personnel. So usually they're at 6 p.m. with a limited staff, usually just two people, the bride and the groom, and wait staff and chef and the salesperson, and that's it. But we're also doing drop-off tastings where we actually deliver their meal to their home, which can then have up to 4 people. So if mom or dad or other family members want to join in, they can do it that way. And it's all packaged as individual meals.
That's good. You know, with
Carol?
Yes.
I have some comments. Melissa McCullough says we are doing in-person tastings for 2 people who live in the same household.
Good.
We have Carly Photo. I am from a catering company in Connecticut. We've always done private tastings and continue to do so. Karima Soul says they're doing them too. So they're out there doing them. They just can't call in.
Right. Okay. All right. So what I'm trying to do here is to make a different experience for this COVID thing. And because we always have to be different, right? So if everybody's going to be doing the same way we've always done them, I'm thinking, how can we change this up? Now, one of my clients in Chicago, she was being fought by with the chef, basically. The chef did not want to do it this way. However, they really wanted to do something different. The whole thing, you know, Steve, if I learned anything from Steve Jobs, and I learned a lot, is you have to be different. You have to be different from your competitors. And boy, is this the time to be different. So why don't we be different? And what is wrong with changing it up and doing this party? Like, if, you know, the 5 Ps, if we're not presenting this, just back what Ellen says, if we don't present different solutions to our clients, they're going to look for it somewhere else. And maybe that's Pinterest. So we've got to come up with these different solutions. You may not like this particular one, but if you bring it up to your client and say, yeah, you know what, we do have an alternative for tasting. You know, we can give you all the ingredients or drop them off. You can pick up the ingredients, just like all those Blue Aprons and things like that. That's fun. And then you make a party of it in your house, and you're cooking the food, and the chef's there and he's checking in and saying, no, don't put that much salt in there. You know, that kind of thing. It's a lot of fun. Look, do people really need to taste our food? I mean, that's the whole thing about tastings. I mean, you know, anybody could cook for 2 people. So I think that it could be really fun and different. Just saying, we have to be different. So if any of you out there want to try it, I'm telling you, it will work. It's fun. Okay. All right. But you need to have tasting procedures. So remember back to the policies and procedures, every procedure that you have has to be COVID. Now, you know who you can give this project, to one of your salespeople, somebody that's really, really anal, that doesn't miss a thing, because they're the type of person that will do it from step by step by step, and in every single area, from the service, from the bar, from the load in, load out, everything. Okay, so we're going to move on. All right, I'm getting rid of you now. Sorry, and sharing my screen. Do you see my screen? Janix, do you see my screen?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Says the venue? Okay, we've done that part. All right, so we have to embrace these new changes. All right, so now we're talking some sales stuff. All right, so let's talk about a wedding client, and then we'll talk about the corporate client afterwards. So they're still getting married. They're still getting engaged. This is still happening in their world. And the first thing that they do is they go to what? The internet. And let's say that this is a bride looking for, or wedding couple looking for a venue. So they go to this one and say, oh, I'm going to say, I could see myself getting married here. I could see myself getting married here. I could see myself getting married here too. And here. And here. Oh my gosh, I could see myself getting married here. So if I could see myself getting married at every one of these places, all 6 of them, then what am I really going to be looking for? If I could see myself getting married at all 6, come on, you guys, I know you know this answer. What I, as the bride, am I going to be looking for? I could see myself getting married at every one of these places.
Price.
Yes! Price. That's why we hear price, you guys. This is why we hear price. It's not, and it's not really truly it. So if I can see myself getting married here, I'm going to go for the cheapest one initially, right? Okay. So to prove my point, I need a volunteer. Who's going to be my volunteer? Dominic. Dominic, you're my volunteer.
Well, why do you keep picking on me?
Because you know I adore you. Okay, Dominic, you see these 2 pens?
No.
Why not?
I'm just kidding. I see your 2 pens. Merle, sell me this pen.
No, it's not that, Dominic. Okay. 1 pen is $1 and 1 pen is $100. Now, Dominic, I'm not trying to get anything over on you. It's not a trick. It's truly not. I want you to just answer honestly. Now, be prepared to pay me in case you want one of these, okay? And I will take your credit card right away. I have Janix right there to accept your credit card information, so don't think you're getting away with it. There is no trick to this. Okay, so this one's $1, Dominic, and this one's $100. Which one do you want?
Oh, I'm going with the $1 because I'm never going to give you 100.
Okay, but what if I were to tell you that the $100 pen writes upside down? Do you want the $1 pen or do you want the $100 pen?
Why is that important to me to write upside down?
I don't know. Do you want the
Who
$1
writes
pen?
upside down? Take a poll.
No, we're not taking a poll. You want the $1 pen or do you want the $100 pen?
I want the $1 pen because I'm not paying you $100.
Okay, what if I were to
How
tell
do I know that the $100 pen has ink in it?
It does. What if I were to tell you that not only does the $100 pen write upside down, it writes underwater? Do you want the $1 pen or do you want the $100 pen?
I'm trying to think of the last time I wrote something underwater.
Okay.
How would that come in?
All right. So you want the $1 pen. So what if I were to tell you not only does the $100 pen write upside down, it writes underwater, but it also writes in rainbow colors? Do you want the $1 pen or do you want the $100 pen?
That was like the old clicky pens that you had 5 colors. I'm still going with the $1 pen.
Okay. What if I were to tell you, Dominic, that the $100 pen not only writes underwater, writes in rainbow colors, writes upside down,
Writes underwater.
and it gets you in front of the lines of all amusement parks, concerts, and gas stations. Do you want the $1 pen or do you want the $100 pen?
I want to know how it does that.
Dominic, I said there was no tricks.
Okay, look, I'm finally going to go with the $100 pen because you're doing benefits and features.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. But do you guys get it? Because these pens are identical. These are our businesses. Yep. These are our businesses. What we have to do is to figure out what their triggers are. Now, I did this, Dominic. I did this to in person, and when I was in California, to an older man, and he said, when I said about the gas station amusement park, he goes, "You know what? I'm so old. I don't even get out of the house anymore. He said, no, I'll still take the $1. I'm like, oh shit, I gotta think quick. So then I said to him, okay, his name was Joe. I said, Joe, what if the $100 pen grew your hair back? Because he was bald. He grabbed that pen. I had to figure out what his triggers were. Because you guys, this is our business. No matter how beautiful your ballroom is, no matter how wonderful you think you are, clients may see us the same. You know, a DJ is a DJ. They all play music. Flower is a flower. Chicken's chicken.
I love that one. Chicken's chicken.
True though. Okay, so it is our job as salespeople to find out what their triggers are. Now, if this was easy, we'd all be doing it. It's not easy because we're so used to talking about the same, that we're all asking the same questions. All right. So I had this opportunity to survey 778 event professionals all across the country. And this is all in our industry. So they were hotels and banquet halls and caterers and florists and musicians, everybody, right? 778 across the country. And I said to them, rank yourselves on these skills. It was bonding with the client, event planning logistics, qualifying the client, and closing the sale, right? So this was 6 years ago. So what do you think, put in the chat, what you think was number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Do it now. And Janix, you can just say to me, actually, you know what? Just do the first one. The first thing that you think is that a salesperson ranks themselves on that scale. The number 1 thing. Are you putting it in chat, people?
I have bonding with client.
Yeah.
From Michelle Stump.
You don't have to tell the people.
Okay.
Just Michelle just typed it in? Just Michelle?
No, they're coming in, but I won't tell you.
Oh. Yeah, you can tell me what you're getting, just not the first name.
Oh, okay. To qualify, bonding with client, the biggie. Qualify, bonding with client, bonding. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So yes. Okay. So would you like to see the results of the 778 event professionals? 41% was bonding with the client. 34% was event planning logistics. 12% was qualifying the client, and 13% was closing the sale.
You're
so,
kidding.
When I looked at this, I was like, oh my God, what is wrong with this? Because every other industry that's out in the world is very sales driven. What is wrong? Why is it so difficult for salespeople to qualify and close? Because we don't have businesses unless our salespeople can close, right? And this was really, really perplexing to me. I mean, it was really, really upsetting. And then it dawned on me. I was talking to Andy about it. I was like, oh my God. And this whole light came up. It's because our industry is different. Because we have a passion for what we do. We're in this because we like to plan events, or we like music, or we like cooking, or we like whatever it is. We're in this, or we like organizing company, whatever it is. We're in this because we have a passion for what we do. We're not in this because we're salespeople. And let me tell you, true salespeople would never be in our business for 2 reasons. We work way too hard, and there's not enough money in it. Because our salespeople truly have a passion for what they do. And once I realized that, they're not, they just need to be trained. Our salespeople in this industry need to be trained. Now, this was 6 years ago, and if I did this poll to you guys today, I would have very similar results all across the country. I do this poll all the time, and I have the same results within a percentage. It is amazing to see, and that is why I know that our salespeople need to be trained, because true salespeople, look, we ask our people to do way too much work, right? But we have to, I get it. We ask them to try and find the client or meet with the client, do the proposal, redo the proposal, send the contract, do the other meeting, send a revised contract, do the walkthrough, execute the event, and do the follow-up. 9 different personality types, 9. Because true salespeople, they would never do any of that stuff. They go for the kill and move back, right? So I almost fired a true salesperson. Let me tell you why. His name was Dan, you know him, Dominic. And he was with me for 20 years, but not at that time. So he was with me maybe 6 years, but he was a good salesperson. I mean, he did on his own, 2 million. He had a book of sales of $2 million and he did it. However, every single department hated him. He was always late for meetings. He never had his paperwork in on time. His paperwork was always a mess. In every department couldn't stand him, and it was really causing friction. And I found myself debating, oh my God, he's causing so much friction, but on the other hand, he's booking $2 million. And I couldn't, I had to save the morale of the rest of the team. And this really, really bothered me until I thought, why don't I just get him an assistant and have them do everything? And that totally changed everything. So when we truly find a real salesperson, don't make them do all that work. And you salespeople out there, if you truly are a salesperson and are like, I can't stand this paperwork, I can't stand this, I just want to book them, and you can. Now, a lot of people will say, well, how do you just leave it after you book them? I mean, don't the clients get upset? You never really leave it. Here's the scenario for that. You have the salesperson, which we call an event producer, and their assistant. You never want to ever call an assistant to a client, because they're saying, I don't want to work with an assistant, the other team member. So it's the event planner. Okay. So the event producer, event planner, this is the salesperson, and this is the assistant. And this is somebody that could be very green, but really good, because they're not selling. They're just really organized and thorough, and they're just keeping track of this person here. So what happens is the salesperson gets it to contract. And in the meantime, they're bringing in their assistant or event planner into maybe the tasting or one of the planning meetings before it's booked, just so they work, because they say we work as a team. So at some point, the event producer never says that, okay, you're in her hands now or his hands now. Never says that, because it's just a natural progression as the event producer planner is talking about color linens, they're talking about floor plans, they're talking about, and they're doing a very good job that the client doesn't even worry. But here's the caveat to that. The event planner always copies the event producer on any correspondence with the client. And the event producer always pipes in, not every time, but always pipes in, ooh, I really like the red linens. That looks so cool. And that's it. He probably did not even know what you're talking about, right? This way, the client is under the impression, and it's just this natural move to the event planner. Now, does this happen with every client? No. I mean, it can't, because you know how some clients are glued to you right from the start. Well, then they understand that, and they still have the assistant do all the work, but they're the face of the client interactions. So salespeople, we call our people salespeople, but they're really not salespeople. And please do not be upset with me with this term, because it does sound awful, but our salespeople in this industry are order takers. I said it. Yeah, you're order takers, because the company got that phone to ring. Now you have to book it. So you still have to sell, but you don't have to go out. You don't have to hunt for it like a salesperson does. Now, I suggest if you find a true salesperson, make them a business development person. Have them go out and gather and hunt and bring in, have somebody else deal with it. Because we missed the boat on that. And throughout the country, I am seeing these and I've actually converted from some of my clients. I said, oh my God, this person's a salesperson. We got to get them out of this rut that they're in of doing the paperwork. And I even said to them, are they late on this? Did the department say, oh my God, yes. I said, because it's a true, you know, Sandy Monroe that was talking earlier, they have a true business development person. What's his name? Fred. He's a salesman. He's out, he smooths it, and he just keeps bringing in the business. And then their salespeople just take it over. It's great. It's great. Okay, moving on. Any questions on this, guys? Nothing. Nothing. Oh, that's from the survey that you guys did. All right. So I had to figure out 6 years ago what was happening between qualifying a client and closing a sale and everything in between, because that's what we were missing here. Okay, we have a little exercise. You guys have the workbooks that I sent you? I bet nobody printed them. Nobody's using them. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
You can see my screen fully. Can you read it, Janice?
Yes. Well, not the bottom, actually. I can only see half of, oh, wait, it's my screen. Yes.
I really thank you for doing this, Janice. I know this is like last minute to you. All right.
I'm a salesperson.
Yeah, right. You are a salesperson.
I don't do detail.
Okay. However, Clint is here. If you need to go, Clint will take over. If you want, that's up to you. Okay, folks, we're doing this exercise because there are 6 critical skills to create dialogue, understand the client needs, priorities, perspective to close profitable business, right? So there's only 6. So I want you guys to rank yourselves on these skills 1 through 6, with 1 being your greatest strength, okay? So it's confidence, relating, questioning, positioning, listening, and checking, okay? So there's no right or wrong answer. You can only use a number once. So you can't have like 2 number 1s, okay? Are you ready? You have 3.5 minutes. And then when you're finished, just put done in the chat, all right? I think I'll be able to go to the bathroom in 3.5 minutes. Oh, I forgot to turn off my mute. I laugh at myself. Okay, guys, guess what? Want to know? You now know what your strengths and areas of improvement are. So your 1, 2, and 3s, you're very strong at. And your 4, 5, and 6s, you need some work. So now that you know this, let's move your 4, 5, and 6s to 1, 2, and 3s. And guess what? You have sales down pat. It's not that easy, is it? No. So what I want you to do is in this workbook that I sent you guys, and I sent it to you yesterday, the day before, Monday I sent it to you, yesterday. It was a link to it, but if you need to do it, I'll send it to you again. Maybe I'll just send it to everybody, because I want you to print this page out. You don't have to print the whole thing out, but print this page out, make a copy of it, and put it one by your computer, one at home, one anywhere, one on your refrigerator, and you look at it and you say, I have listening as number 5. So I have got to figure out, because I have got to listen more. You know, and I actually think many salespeople have listening as their 4, 5, and 6s. A lot of people think that they're listeners, but they're really not. We will listen to what we need. When we're asking our inquiry questions, which we're going to talk about, we only listen to what we need, we pull out. But we have to listen to everything, because guess what? They are telling us so much. All right, digress. So now you have your 1, 2, and 3s, and now you have to deal with your 4, 5, and 6s. And you can do that. So right before a meeting, you say, okay, I'm going to work on this, and this is how I'm going to do it. Because once you're aware of it, totally different, right? The other thing is, have your team members take this, because you'd be very surprised. Your 1, 2, and 3s may be somebody else's 4, 5, and 6s, and then you can coach them, or vice versa. So this is a great tool, because if you can get your 4, 5, and 6s to 1, 2, and 3s, you're going to see how your sales will skyrocket. All right, we're moving on. Okay, guys, I'm going to read 2 separate things: the light blue and dark blue. I hope they look light blue and dark blue to you. And I want to know what you identify more with. Now, you're not going to get everyone in that color bracket exactly, but I want to know how many you identify with. So if you're leaning toward one of the colors. You ready? Okay. I can develop my abilities. Challenges make me grow. Feedback is constructive. Effort is necessary. Or do you identify with either I can do it or I can't? I stick to what I know. I don't like receiving feedback. And if I'm frustrated, I give up. Now look, you guys, there's no right or wrong answer here. So in the chat, do you feel that you identify more with light blue or dark blue? So put it in the chat.
Overwhelmingly light blue.
Yes. Yes, I'm not surprised.
There's only one dark.
And then that's okay. I'm glad the dark person said something, because what does this mean? What do you think this means, you guys? Put it in the chat.
I think everybody did.
No, about what am I talking about here? What is this? Because of time, I'm moving on. Try this. I'm gonna try the okay. Yes.
Ralph, if I may interject.
Yes.
After light blue, there was a lot of we're adaptable, flexible, positive, not as positive, positive outlook versus negative. These are your comments.
That's right. These are good. All right, you guys, that's right. Because light blue is, we're talking about mindset here. So light blue is growth mindset. And dark blue is fixed mindset. You are either one or the other. We're born that way. However, we can certainly change. But in our industry, we do see more growth mindset. And so I'm not surprised. But I also understand that fixed mindset, there are people like that, but you can change that if you want. You know, it is the glass is half full, the glass is half empty, that type. But this is because success is a matter of mindset. You with me? Okay, we're moving on. When headcounts drop, how do we recoup lost revenue? It should be one word. I'm not going to wait for your answers. I'm going to tell you. Upselling. Yes, it is all about upselling. Do you want fries with that? That's the famous one. I mean, look, you guys, when you're at a bar and you're ordering a gin and tonic, you think they just give you well liquor? No, they're going to say, do you want beef eaters and Tanqueray? You know, they're going to upsell you, right? You are at Best Buy and you're buying some type of electronics and they're going to say, would you like the service warranty? That's upselling. Do you want fries with that? Is upselling. The dessert cart, the waiter brings the dessert to you when you're like, oh my God, I have to have that. That's upselling. How many times do you see a server come up and go, so you folks, as they have their check in their hand, so you folks want dessert? But boy, if that dessert cart was wheeled right to me, I would say, yeah, I'll have that one. And I just want a bite of this one. Anybody else want to have this one with me? Upselling. Upselling is huge. Upselling is my favorite thing. And boy, oh boy, is this the time to use it. Every single salesperson needs to use this all the time. And if you're not, you're missing the game, especially if you're commissioned or you work on goals, because you can bring like almost 20-30% of the sale in upsells. But now we have to do that even more so because of we're losing headcounts like crazy. But it has to be strategic, right? But strategic selling it involves increasing competitive advantage by strengthening your ability to communicate your uniqueness. And what I mean by that is I'm going to give you a couple techniques that we use at our office because our salespeople really know how upselling can change their goals and add to their goals. And they are paid. They're on a draw, so everything that they make everything that they sell, they make money on. And why not? Okay, so here's a typical upsell day, and they plan their upsells in a calendar. And as they're talking to clients, they have notes there that may say, that will say what's very important to them, and showy, like showy things. Keep up the Joneses or something like that. So that means they're going to want something new and unique and different. So they'll pull that out and say, okay, I'm going to do upsells today, and these are the things I'm going to upsell. So they do all their filings. So now they are calling them up or sending them an email. And it could go like this. Hey, Jen, I just left the kitchen and the chef showed me this really cool appetizer. And I was thinking of you because you always wanted something different. And she said, I've never seen this before. So the salesperson would say, are you at your computer? And she would say, yes. She goes, let me send you some photos. And they're sending some photos. And now it's the mozzarella balloon, right? So now she's showing her this thing, and it's like, it is so cool. And what do you mean? How do you do it? Da, da, da. And I took a video on my phone. I'll text it to you. And so now they're interactively talking about this upsell, which is like $8, which is, she's got to have it, okay? This upsell works. Or another one would be roaming specialty late night bites or something like that. I knew you wanted something really cool for late night bites and not the typical cookies and milk or bags of popcorn. But the chef just did this really cool eggs Benedict type thing that's in this basket, blah, blah, blah. Let me send you a picture. Oh my God, that is so cool. I've never seen this before. Now, here's the thing. You really have to show them something that they've never seen. And chefs need to come up with these different things because that is upselling. So it was funny because the salespeople are doing their jobs when a year later, all of these upsells are happening in the kitchen. They're all coming through now. One year, they said, if I see another mozzarella balloon, I'm going to die. But only insiders know that. The clients don't know that. So anyway, it has to be a strategy. There is a power to upselling. The key is to focus the efforts on meeting the client's needs. You just can't upsell anything. It's got to be something that they want, right? So assumption is key. I love like calling them up and say, you've got to see this. I know you want something different. That's just assuming you have this. It's not like, I was thinking maybe you should look at this or blah, 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 blah. No. Also, in a leader proposal, Amazon does this so well, where you buy an item and then right underneath it says, but if you get this with this equals this. Oh, how many times have you done that? Oh yeah. We have to train the salespeople to upsell. They can't just do it because they will stumble through it. There's got to be role playing. There's got to be scripts. There's got to be until they feel really, really comfortable just picking up the phone and say, hey, I just saw this really cool thing. Or upgrading linens. Like we'll have contests and let's upgrade linens. Upgrade linens is like the easiest thing in the world to do, right? I mean, there's no skin off our back except for a phone call to change the linen order. That is something. And we work with our linen companies and say, I want to know first time anything's new out. And they will. And that's when we make all of our calls. You can incorporate it in their daily schedule. Our people like to do it weekly because it's just easier for them because they're in that mindset. And you need to decide what you're going to upsell across the board, because then how much easier it makes. Like in our design division, they were upselling those pom-pom things, and we got better pricing when we were able to, because they're all coming in that year. That's, it's either wedding season or corporate season or whatever it is. They're all coming in, so we get better pricing on that. All right. So when do you upsell in the sales process? When they're booked. Duh. You do not upsell. You do not start upselling before they're booked, because what happens is they're thinking that they're they've got to think that, yeah, I've got this ideal menu that I want. But if you start upselling stuff, they're going to start thinking, oh, now you're really going to be too expensive. Now they're going to talk to another company. So you want to upsell after the book, and you want to develop a company-wide policy, for upselling. It includes all the steps that you need to take. Okay, so we have the key elements. Cross-selling. We talked about Amazon. That's cross-selling. You want to stay relevant. You don't want to be upselling like milk and cookies 10 years ago. Industry partners. This is the way we do things. This is so cool. So we'll talk to our favorites of designers and event planners and DJs, musicians, so everybody, photographers. And we'll say, this is what we're doing. We're upselling these different things, or cross-selling, and this is what we're doing. What are you doing? What are you doing that's different? So I know Dave Williams, once he did the same-day edits, he's a videographer, and he did these same-day edits, and it was really cool. He did same-day edits of the day so far, and at the end of the wedding, they showed them the event. Which is so cool. I've never seen that. That's what cross-selling really works. Because if I want to help him out, I'd say, did you see his same-day edits? And they said, no, I didn't. Or I'm sure they did. Or they said, yeah, I did. And say, it is the coolest thing. That's upselling, cross-selling. And we have to help each other, because they're going to say, hey, did you ever see the way Festivities does their table service? They circle the table. It's really cool. This is the way cross-selling is supposed to be done. So you need to get with your industry partners need to work for you as you need to work for them, especially if you want to keep it this A team together, because the more and we work with 5 or 6, each category. but at least we know when one of these guys are on the event's going to go well. All right. You want to do product or service bundles. Put things together, you know, because that way I could put the Enchanted Garden with this specialty cocktail, and boy, will that be cool. Okay, and then train around with the client, which I already talked about, because we're just not selling stuff, guys. We just can't keep selling stuff. All right, so it can harm you though. Complicated offers, do not complicate it. It should be just really like a conversation. Don't put it in print. You know, like don't say things you might include. Don't do that, because upselling it's an emotion. Don't oversell your products or services, and know when the client says means no, knows no, in all aspects of life, right? All right, so here's just a graph of what can be done with upselling dollar-wise. This is the 10% commission a salesperson would be getting, and that just added like $5,200 if they upsold and did all this, the core and tenting and rentals. And even if your company doesn't do all this, it's okay, but you're still going to be getting a percentage on it because you're going to be marking them up. Yeah? Okay, so O.B. Smith, I don't know who he is, but I love the expression. Confidence and enthusiasm are the greatest sales producers in any kind of economy. Love that. So I don't want to be an idiot by saying I don't know who he is, but I don't know who he is. Okay. All right, so it's 4:30. Shoot, we're not done. Let's talk. All right, I want to pause my screen share. Wait, guys. All right, before let's pause it. I want to see everybody's face. See if you're still with me. You look tired. You look all tired, guys. Are you tired? All right, so this is the story. I have a lot to go. I have a lot more to do. So I have a lot more to do. So if we go over, you guys can drop out because some people may have things to do, but I will continue. And whoever stays with me, stays with me. And then I will give you the recording. And the last time I went over an hour and a half, and I took out some content because I didn't think it was important. But I think that what I did leave is important. So I do want to make sure I cover it. Does that make sense? Okay, anybody have any questions on anything so far? All right, so I'm going to go back to my thing because I have my noteworthy products here. That is very, very cool. Let me go back to this. Does everybody see my screen? Janice, you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Clint, are you with me, honey bunny?
Yes, ma'am. I'm right here.
I don't need you yet, but I will soon. All right.
You're like every other woman in my life.
A couple of people are asking for a moment's break.
Oh, okay. Let's take 10. 10 minutes on the Dweeby dot. That means 4:31 at 4:41 come back. Okay? We're back. Is everybody back? We're back. Is everybody back? because I'm moving on.
Put us on the whole screen so we can see who's back.
Oh.
The gallery.
Yeah. I have to stop.
Oh, they're all coming in saying back, back, back. Okay.
All right, good. All right, good. All right, guys. Okay, so what I like to do is I like to find some interesting things that will help our industry, because God knows nobody else is helping our industry. And I want to find these noteworthy products that I come across. And the first one was All Seated. And I talked about it before with you guys, but I want to show you what this VR does. It is simply amazing.
Ever wished you could bring your property to a client or be able to show your client the event before the event? All Seated's 360 VR is a suite of sales and marketing tools that will revolutionize your sales process with its property on the go technology. It's fast and simple, which is how we like it at All Seated. We take photorealistic camera images and we build it directly into our dynamic gaming technology. It's a first of its kind, giving your clients a total immersive experience without having to be at your property. Properties are closing deals today without anyone stepping foot inside their space. Increase the efficiency of your sales team to convert local and destination business and make your property spaces accessible for tours 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Experience All Seated 360 VR and get on the go.
This is the coolest thing ever. Okay, I can't tell you how much sales have increased with this. So you just call them up, they come out, they take these 3D images. I don't know how it works. Okay, all I do know is that a client puts on these goggles and we put in the venue that they want. And even if we don't own these venues or have the exclusive to these venues, they're exclusive to us because nobody else has it, the software for it. I mean, nobody else would pay for it. But anyway, it is huge and it's totally paid for itself. So check that out. All right, the next thing is I was at a NACE Experience conference, I think it was 2016. And this guy comes up to me named Trip, and he wants to sell me on this food purchasing program. And I'm like, no. I remember Andy, my husband, in case anybody doesn't know. He always says, no, those food purchasing programs don't work, because what they do is they give you low leader price and then they jack up everything else, or they give it to you for a short amount of time and then it goes up. So he never really believed in these food purchasing program. So I said, I was very polite and I took their stuff and came home from the conference and I had it on the table. And then a couple of days later, Andy says to me, he goes, what's this? And I said, I met this guy at NACE conference. And he says, this is different. And I said, really? And he says, yeah. He goes, put me in touch with them. So long story short, we're saving 19%. 19%. Do you know how much that is in food costs? Not only food, I think it has paper supplies and other chemicals, other stuff. 19%, that pays for an employee, more pays for employees. That's a lot. So I asked Clint, because obviously I'm not very good at explaining it. I asked Clint to come on and talk. Clint, are you here?
I am.
Okay. So Clint, do your thing.
Okay, my thing is, it's funny you said that about paying an employee. We just rostered a really large client down in South Florida, and I'd asked him, I said, you know, what's the one thing that you want to do that you can't do for your staff? And he said it was health insurance. So we figured it up, and his health insurance was going to be about I think it was like $78,000 is what it was going to cost. And through our program, he saved like $140. So we basically paid for his health insurance, and then some for, for a year. So what we do is exceedingly simple. If you woke up tomorrow morning and you had $7 billion in purchasing leverage, you would obviously get the best prices. That's what we are. We are 32,000 companies working together to negotiate the best prices for all of you guys on your behalf. We are basically your procurement department. So we are US Foods' largest customer. We have, like I mentioned, about a $7 billion annual spend. We represent about 15% of their total volume. So you would order exactly what you order now. You verbatim. You just buy everything a whole lot cheaper. It's only a $350 minimum, so it's not like it's a whole lot of money. You never pay us a dime for anything. You have a US Foods account executive. You order from US Foods. The US Foods truck will bring it to you, and you just put the money that you save in your pocket. It's really that simple. And like, I tell everyone all the time, the only competition we really have is skepticism. This is too good to be true. Some Southern guy saying I can save all this money. Numbers lie. Excuse me. People lie. Numbers don't. We're happy to show you that stuff. Proof's in the pudding.
Yeah.
So anyone has any questions on anything, you can reach out to me. That's just a boring graph that shows where the red line, the blue line's the trends. We follow the same trends. But if your eggs are already 10% cheaper, then we're still going to be 10% cheaper than what your eggs are. So, the big thing through all this COVID stuff has been spreadsheeting. People are obviously have more time on their hands, so they're trying to find the best deals on things. And, it's just like your business now. If you have a client that is representing, a lot of your volume, obviously you're going to give them better prices. So that's all we do. We just are able to negotiate crazily cheap prices and bring it straight to you.
Yeah, what Andy liked about this program, not only the 19% savings, because that's really substantial, is that there's only a $350 order and there's no contract. So you can get out of it at any time. I mean, there's no contract. So, but definitely worth, I think you just have to give them some invoices and then they do the comparison. I don't know. But if you're interested, put it in the chat, that just write interested, and I'll gather them up and let Clint have it. But it is definitely worth checking out, guys. Definitely.
And one real quick thing before you move on is there aren't limited things you can buy. You can buy anything you want to. US Foods has 100,000 items. There aren't certain brands you have to buy. So I just wanted to make sure we got that in. And thank you guys for giving me a few minutes here. And I hope everyone is well where you are in the world.
Thanks, Clint. Okay. All right. So the new deposit and the new contract. All right. So what I want to talk about is the word deposit. We got to erase that from our vocabulary because a deposit means two different things. When we say deposit, we mean it's a retainer because we're not giving it back. So we have to change the word deposit because you've all experienced this, I'm sure, COVID's way, that people think that they're getting their deposit back and they're not. We all know that we incur costs of this deposit and we just can't be giving them back. So that's number one. Let's change the word deposit. No more deposit. Retainer or whatever else you want to call it, but just not deposit. The other thing in there is that I'm sure you've already changed your contracts, but it needs to have some verbiage in there COVID related. Now I'm also going to share that with you on, I'll be sending that to you, some different ways that people are putting verbiage into their contracts, okay? All right, moving on. So managing and motivating a team from home, I'm going to quickly go through this because actually it's kind of fun. I got this from Blue Jeans, and it's the future of work from home. So 40.1% of us feel that we're more productive, and 71% report that they are working more hours, on an average of 3.1 hours more than they would at work. And just think about it. No office chit chat all the time. I mean, I think they're getting a lot more done too. I would have never thought that before. So 49.4% of us are saying we get less exercise. 39% we like snacking and they prefer salty. We all know the party on the bottom and business party on top, whatever it is. Caffeine consumption is 45.9 is drinking the same, and 20.9 are drinking more. Okay. What is your biggest distraction from working from home? 27.6 is taking care of kids. And then 26.5 is reading social media. So there's lots of distractions too. How many more days can you tolerate working from home? On the average, remote workers can tolerate 99.3 more days of working from home. I gotta tell you, it took me so long. I work from home now because I was basically kicked out of the office, only because I'm loud. But I had to start working from home, and that was so devastating for me because I'm a people person and I get my energy from that. However, I'm so used to it now and I get so much more done. I still go to the office a couple days a week. All right, so I want you guys to look at this video and then we'll discuss. Stop my video.
Would you walk us through a typical day for you?
Yeah.
Great.
Well, I generally come in at least 15 minutes late. I use the side door. That way Lumberg can't see me. And after that, I just sort of space out for about an hour. Space out? Yeah. I just stare at my desk. But it looks like I'm working. I do that for probably another hour after lunch, too. I'd say in a given week, I probably only do about 15 minutes of real, actual work.
Peter, would you be a good sport and indulge us and just tell us a little more?
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you something about TPS reports. The thing is, Bob, it's not that I'm lazy. It's that I just don't care. Don't care? It's a problem of motivation, all right? Now, if I work my ass off and Initech ships a few extra units, I don't see another dime. So where's the motivation? And here's something else, Bob. I have 8 different bosses right now.
I beg your pardon?
8 bosses.
8?
8, Bob. So that means that when I make a mistake, I have 8 different people coming by to tell me about it. That's my only real motivation, is not to be hassled. That and the fear of losing my job. But you know, Bob, that'll only make someone work just hard enough not to get fired.
Would you bear with me for just a second, please?
Okay.
What if, and believe me, this is so hypothetical, but what if you were offered some kind of a stock option equity sharing program? Would that do anything for you?
I don't know, I guess. Listen, I'm gonna go. It's been really nice talking to both of you guys.
Absolutely. The pleasure's all on this side of the table, trust me.
Good luck with your layoffs, all right? I hope your firings go really well.
Excellent. Great.
Interesting, huh? Okay. What do you think that was about? Yes, complacency. A job's a job. You know, complacency meaning is a feeling of satisfaction with your own abilities or situation that prevents you from trying harder. So what do you think makes people complacent? We're not doing the poll. I'll just tell you. Okay. Boredom. Wrong career choice. No training, no motivation, they're disengaged, they lost their drive, they take shortcuts, they don't take risks, they lost their passion, and they stop taking initiative. That's complacency. So we may be seeing this in ourselves and in our employees with this COVID because it feels so dire right now. So we have to do as employers and as team players, we've got to look at these signs And we've got to try and fix this because it's not like you could just go out and get a job anywhere right now. So we've got to fix our working environment. All right, because a fish rots from the head. That means the leader is the one that sets the pace for this complacency, which is really, really important because guess what? Nobody rises to low expectations. A players want to step up, not level out. Okay, we're going to watch this quick little video and discuss. Well, we're not really discussing. I'll discuss.
Whoa, what's going on, Mr. Voss?
Biology, Derek.
Fair enough.
Can someone tell me what happens when a cell stagnates?
Okay, no one's listening to me.
I will try again. Anyone know what happens to a stagnant cell?
What's he doing on the table?
I don't know, something about cells.
Malia,
It's not good.
did you hear that? It ain't good. People, a cell that is not in motion is not a productive member of the system. It ends up assuming all the other cells are going to pick up the slack somewhere, but they don't. In fact, they imitate the stray cell until basically the whole organism begins to die. Yeah, but you know what? Biology is an amazing thing. And here's the good news. All that decays can be restored. It's just hitting anybody.
Like how a cut heals.
Like how a cut heals. Brian, my man.
Ah, look, you got one.
And once that cell is back on track, it creates energy amongst the other cells. That's what happens. It starts getting a little movement going. It gets a little rumble. Can I get a little rumble from everybody? Everybody just rumble in your seats right now for me. Just rumble a little bit. Okay, no rumble. That's fine. I'll be the lone rumbler up here. That's what I am. I'm a lone rumbler. But then the cell starts banging into the other cells. And the cells push back and go, hey, what are you doing to me? They hit into another one. Hey, don't do that. Hey, that's my friend. You don't even know him. You don't know me either. I know you, we work together. Because then they hit a rhythm. They all hit a rhythm, and this is the beginning of the restorative process. So now, even if the entire system is close to dead, what happens? Martinez, come on, give me something. Oh no, not today.
Oh, no, not in my house. No. Look out, here we come. Don't look up my pant leg, Derek. You're better than that. Right over you.
Come on, man. What do you say? If all the cells work together, what will happen?
Entire system is healed.
Exactly. That is a sick dragon.
Yes, guess what this is? If the entire system is sealed, that means we are figuring out who our employees are. We've got to get rid of toxic employees. And I can go on and on and on about this, but this is going to be another class because complacency in the workplace it's a killer. And it happens a lot more than we see. And we've got to figure it out. And I'm not saying just get rid of people that are complacent. No, there's a reason why they're complacent. Why do good people become complacent? So we're going to talk about that. Okay. All right. Did you know that we are distracted every 11 minutes? Not me saying this, researcher says this. Every 11 minutes, because 25 minutes to get back to work for what we were doing. So we're distracted, then it takes us 25 minutes to get back. And 5% of what we do is consciously self-directed, which means 95% of what we do in response of a demand or an anxiety. Interesting, yes? Yes. Okay, number 2, the game changed. 6 sales techniques. Embrace the process, the client. All right, so there is no better time than right now to nurture your corporate client. There's no better time. You know, just because they're not having events doesn't mean you shouldn't reach out and talk. not about events. I'm not talking about like the restructuring of these events. I'm talking about just general conversation. You know, don't forget that their world has totally changed as well. You know, some of those have been furloughed or laid off or whatever it is. But I would reach out to them, and that's not calling them on their phone number of the company. I would reach out on social media, private message them, just chit chat. You know, they're also working from home in sporadic hours. But the common reality is that you're going through the same thing as them. So you could just talk from, you know, employee to employee, which is good. You know, what can you do? Well, you know, send them a card, you know, private message them, you know, invite them to, you know, well, a virtual lunch, you know, do a Zoom happy hour, you know, cookies. I mean, anything. You know, we have got to nurture these good clients because you do not want them to think that they forgot about you, right? All right, not doing anymore. Okay, proactive sales. All right, salespeople. Here's my thinking. You're salespeople. Now, you're not order takers. That means you have to be proactive in bringing sales in. And this is, oh, my video's not on. Oh, here I'm back. You have to be proactive in bringing sales in, right? Yeah, you're not order takers. So I'm going to give you a very quick way of, I keep doing that. Sorry, guys. Okay, 6 steps to prospect in under 15 minutes. I'm going to go fast, so keep up with me. All right, step 1, check your CRM system or your software that you use in your database where your clients are. And check to make sure that if you're going to go target somebody, that somebody's not already working with them. And my rule is if they're in your system and they haven't had an event in a year, it's open game. Anybody can use them as a client, okay? So that's check your CRM system. That only takes 30 seconds. All right, the next thing is, step 2 is to hit the company website. That only takes 2 minutes. So what you're looking for is you want to find out what their story is and what their core values are. And what you want to know that is how your business aligns with their goals. You want to find out who the leadership is, who their investors are. You want to find out who the potential decision makers are. Mutual investors or you know, reference their own call. You can do any of that stuff. You want to check out their blogs. Find out what topics they're talking about and writing about. You know, what's top of mind for them? What kind of content is it? You can also find out the personality of their company just by reading their blog. If it's very, very formal, they're a very formal company. If it's a little loosey-goosey and they're a more fun company, you can really learn a lot about that. Okay, step 3, look at LinkedIn. 2 minutes. First of all, salespeople, we're not using LinkedIn to its fullest potential. Boy, is this a gold mine. This isn't your typical social media like Instagram or Facebook. You're not chatting back and forth. There's real businesses happening here. I got to tell you, we get a lot of business out of LinkedIn. And it is just by working it. And not, you know, I know you guys probably get so many messages. I'd like to work together. You know, that stuff doesn't work. I delete all of those. But when somebody reaches out to me for something interesting, or if they say to me, I read an article that you wrote. So you may want to say to them, hey, I was on your website. Well, that was nice that you were on their website. And I read the company blog. And I find that blah, 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 blah. That's starting a conversation. Very, very important. LinkedIn is so, God, it has so much power. And actually really spend more than 2 minutes on it. I mean, I know I did this for 15 minutes, but this is an important one. You can find out what awards they've won, their experience, their school. You can find, and you're finding not just the company, you're finding the individual. Because remember, we're a people business. It's all about relationships. So you're really not learning about the company. You're learning about that individual. You know, maybe you went to the same high school, college, you know, whatever. But really look into that. Okay, step 4, check out all their social media content. That only takes 3 minutes. check it out. How are they posting? What's the personality of their brand? Are they serious? Are they fun? What's going on? It's very, very, very important. One other thing I did not put in here is, and because it's been around for so long, but I think people may be missing it, is Google Alerts. Oh my gosh, it's wonderful. So I put in all of my clients in Google Alerts, and that means whenever they are mentioned, and I will put the company and the individual, but whenever they are mentioned throughout the internet, whenever, I get notified. So now I know that PNC Bank in Bryn Mawr just won an award for whatever. So now I can call my client and say, hey, congrats, I just read about your award for blah, 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 blah. You and your team must be so proud. Well, I'm not asking them for an event, but I'm bringing myself into their world, number one. And number two is they're going to think I'm very well read. So Google Alerts is wonderful, wonderful. All right, check out the social media. That takes 3 minutes. And then go on their competitors page. Find out, what their competitors are up to and what they're doing. I mean, you'd be surprised at how you can incorporate this in conversation. And step 6, the gatekeeper. That gatekeeper is the person who is keeping you away from your client. Yes, they answer the phones. So you have got to make friends with this gatekeeper. So my suggestion is not to leave messages for your clients that you want to go after. Don't leave voicemails. It just doesn't work. What you want to do is that you want to be friends with the gatekeeper. And let's say if I was doing a corporate luncheon or even flowers, let's say I was doing flowers. I want to take care of all their plants delivery and flowers for their company. So I would call the gatekeeper and I would become friends with them. And then I would say, hey, you know what? Can I send you some flowers? I just want somebody over there to see how beautiful they are, especially this time of the year. So that's your icebreaker. You just send them flowers. What's she going to say? No. Then she's going to call you up or going to send you an email. And then you're going to say, well, who does order your flowers? Do you order the flowers? And they'll say, no, I don't order the flowers. And I would say, well, who does? And they're going to tell me their names. Like, could I ever get an appointment with them? Well, I don't see why not. And now this person is turned into your corner. So it is befriending this gatekeeper. Now, obviously this goes on for a little while, this little song and dance, but it is wonderful. And guess what? When you call, they're going to say, you know what, you really do need to talk to her, Meryl, because she's been calling and sending flowers and stuff. Just give her a chance. That's how that relationship works. So be friends with that gatekeeper. They have a lot of power. It's not time consuming. Here it is. Here's all your 5 steps. And Google too. Okay, the conversation. Number 3. Okay, so everybody says to me, go for the close, go for the close, go for the close. It's not the close, you guys. It's the open. The close happens naturally. It is not the close. It's the open. And what do I mean by that? That Dan was telling you about that I was going to fire because he's a true salesperson. Well, when the internet started coming around, we were still pre-internet when we started, but we were getting all these internet inquiries. At that point, I'm thinking, well, if they want us, they'll just pick up the phone and call us. So we were dealing with the internet inquiries, but we weren't really paying any mind. We would just answer them and send them whatever they wanted. And then we realized that, we're not getting any really good leads and we're not getting any bookings from this internet inquiry. So we just went through the steps with it. Then one day I was going through these internet inquiries. I'm flipping through them. I was like, whoa, wait a minute. These are our clients. These are our corporate clients. These are our social clients. These are our venues. These are our clients. So we paid a little bit more attention to them, right? So Dan, he said to me one day, I talk to God every night, but can I get a bride to give me a call back? Never. I thought that was so funny. So we had to sit down and figure this out of why we weren't getting answered back. We sent the template letter, we sent them what they wanted, we asked for a follow-up phone call, we emailed them again, and crickets. Crickets. So we all came together and we said, okay, we've got to figure this out. So what we did, and I'm going to show you, it's called Email to Conversation. And we're going to ditch our inquiry sheet. We need it, I get it, but we're not going to be putting it right in front of us. And we are not going to be sending out any sales material. Saying, what are you, crazy? All right, I don't have this email to inquiry in this presentation. However, I'm going to explain it to you because I think it's really important. All right, what we did was we changed the subject line. We took out, there may have been Greystone Hall wedding in June. And then we took that out and we wrote, you chose my favorite venue, right? Then we got rid of the template letter, got rid of it completely. And we didn't send them pricing. We didn't send them anything. We sent them a puff piece, but didn't have any pricing in it because our thinking was everybody does pricing differently. So you have to be an accountant to figure out from one competitor to the other competitor, right? So we figured we're not going to do that because we don't want to be pushed aside just on our price from the beginning, right? So we don't send the pricing. So we just did a very quick little, Greystone is absolutely stunning. You should see it in June. I'd love to hear more of the details about your wedding. Are you free this afternoon or this evening? Question mark. And that's it. That's it. We didn't send anything else. That was it. And oh my God, you guys, the results that we got back. Now, mind you, we tried many different things, but this is the one that stuck. We were getting emails right away back because as humans, we answer questions. However, if that question was in the first paragraph, it would not get answered. And we didn't put anything else after that except for our name. So they answered right back. They say, yeah, 5 o'clock works for me. Who doesn't want to talk about their event? They do, but they're just so used to just, they go to the website, they put the internet inquiry down, they're cut and pasting and sending them to everybody else. So that was the main thing. The other thing is by changing the subject line, so we know that clients will go to the internet, pick all of their vendors. Let's say you're a photographer and they go to all the photographers that were suggested to them and they're sending them the email, same thing, cut and paste, send it to all 6 photographers. So now, because we're all good at what we do, in her inbox, she's gonna see Greystone Hall, Greystone Hall, Greystone Hall. You pick my favorite venue. Ooh, what's that? And clicks right into that. Step 1, we got it. We got our attention. Now we've got the attention again because we asked a question. Now we have a conversation because there's nothing worse because sales is all about relationships. It is not about email. You cannot make a connection through email. You just can't. I don't care how you word it. You just can't. Because even if you word it even fun or funny, they may even take that the wrong way. You just can't. So it has to be a conversation. So we actually have this meeting that's gold. And when we're going to screw it up by doing the 4 W's, which are the who, what, where, when, right from our inquiry sheet. Everybody's doing the same thing. Oh, congratulations. When are you getting married? Oh, that's a beautiful time of the year. How many people are you having? Where are you having it? Or were you thinking about doing a station buffet? What are your ideas? What's your vision? Get that out of your vocabulary. What's your vision? I mean, because they have stock answers for these. I want you to totally change the way we are doing the initial inquiry. Okay? So these are qualifying questions. So what if you say to them, instead of, the first thing you would say is congratulations, but I've been doing this for so many years and I still love hearing it. How did you get engaged? Tell me about the proposal. You guys, this is a loaded question because first of all, they're taken aback by this because the other 6 did not ask that same question. So now they're going to answer it. They're going to think a little bit, and they're going to say either, well, we were on top of the Eiffel Tower, and I'm thinking, cha-ching. Or they may say, well, we were at Denny's, and they put this parfait in front of me. I didn't even order it. They put this parfait in front of me, and I'm eating it, and then I see something glistening, and I pulled it out. You guys, this is my ring. And she's licking it off. Are we talking about 2 different brides here? Yes. We are talking about 2 different clients. Yes? Okay. So then, what if I asked, how do you want your guests to feel when they leave your wedding? She may say, well, I want them to think it was the most sophisticated, elegant wedding they have ever been to. Or she may say, well, I want them to think it was the best wedding. They had so much fun with just dancing constantly and the bar open, lots of liquor. Are we talking about 2 different clients here? Yes. Yes. Now look, these questions that I'm telling you are only for social and wedding clients. Do not ask these to corporate clients. I will tell you how to do that in a minute. You will get hung up on if you ask these questions. Okay, then I would ask, what's your must-have? I must have a photo booth. I must have, whatever it is, I must have dancing in between courses. I must have, whatever it is, she's going to tell you what her must-have is. Then I'm going to say, then what's your deal breaker? I do not want dancing in between courses. Absolutely not. I do not want, that's a deal breaker. And this would be a deal breaker. They're telling us what their deal breakers are. You're not writing every single thing down because you need all this information. And you're going to have such a clear picture of what this client is when we're finished. Then the next one, I bet you've been to a lot of weddings recently. I know my daughter was at 10 last year. And she may say, yeah, I've been to a lot. Then I would say, well, tell me 3 things that you absolutely loved. And they're going to think about it. They may say, I loved that there were bars everywhere. I loved that there was dancing in between courses. I loved that they had a photo booth. I loved whatever it is. Who knows what they loved? So many things it could be. How would I know? Although we treat our clients like we know what they want. But they're all so different. We know that it's the type of event that they're having. We know the structure. We don't know the actual client and what their triggers are. Then I would ask them, all right, well, then tell me 3 things you didn't love. Well, I hate it that you had to wait in line for drinks. Or I hate it that you couldn't see the person across because the centerpiece was so big. I didn't like that they had dancing in between. I mean, whatever it is. Now, you cannot ask these 2 questions in one paragraph, one question. You can't say, well, tell me 3 things that you loved and 3 things that you didn't love, because they're only going to answer one of those questions, and we need both. We need both of those answers. So you have to separate them. Okay. Next one is, and we all know it's here to stay, so do you have a Pinterest board? The Knot says that 82% of wedding couples have Pinterest board. That's high enough for me to ask this question. So I'm asking this question. I'm saying, do you have a Pinterest board? And if she says yes, and I say, oh, can I get the link? I would love to see it. So she's sending me right over, and I'm on it now. And there it is, you guys. There's her whole wedding all laid out in front of you. You can see if she's a rustic bride. You can see if she likes bling. You can see if she's all over the place. You can see if she's a DIY bride. You can see everything. The first thing out of your mouth should be, oh my gosh, we have the same taste. Helps. So these are here they are, all the questions. And I'm telling you, if you ask these questions, you will know this client inside and out. And every one of these are triggers for this client. You will know what she likes and what she doesn't like, right? Okay, so now I said you can't ask these to the corporate client, right? You can't. So if you have a corporate event planner call you and they say, we're having an open house for 75 people. The first thing out of my mouth is, have you planned this event before? So she's either going to say, or he is going to say, oh yeah, I've been doing this for 10 years and same event, I could do it with my eyes closed. So then I know she is a senior event planner, right? Or she may say, no, my boss just put this in front of me and said, I had to figure this out and plan this event for 75 people. So now I know I'm talking to a green event planner. So with the green event planner, I'm going to say, don't worry about it. I got you. I will not embarrass you in front of your boss. And now the realization is, oh my gosh, I'm planning this thing. I could be embarrassed. I can't screw this up. So then I would take her under my wing and explain to her, and God knows, doesn't everybody want to train a green event planner your way? You teach them about floor plans, you teach them about head counts, you teach them about everything your way. And I got to tell you, we've been doing this for 25 years and we still have the same event planners still working for us that are not green event planners anymore, that are senior event planners, that has taken us from their job to job to job, because we spent that time training them our way, right? And we didn't embarrass them, right? So now with the seasoned event planner, the only other thing that we ask her is, what role would you like me to take in the planning process? And they're thinking, oh, what do you mean by that? Well, we can do the design. We could order your rentals. We can do the centerpieces. We could do the lighting. We could do the tenting. We could do valet. Oh, why don't you take the rentals? Yeah, do the centerpieces. I'll do the valet and the entertainment. You take this, I'll do that. You know what's happening here? We just got the job. Realize that? We got the job. So in her mind, we got the job. So it's assuming things. Now, there's two things that happened here. This event planner could be new to the company, but still a seasoned event planner, doesn't know who we are and doesn't know what we can do, and say, oh, wow, here's a great company that is going to help me with this. Yay. That's it. That's all we ask the senior event planners. Now, here's the thing. You do exactly what they say. If they want the proposal on Friday, you get it there Thursday. If they call you, you call them right back. Don't email them. If they text you, you text them right back. If they email you, email them. Whatever that is. That is a different world than a bride, slow. It is immediate. Okay, number 4, the proposal. Okay, so we call these pretty props. And with all the information that you got from your client, you are now putting together a proposal. Now, it doesn't, I go into these companies and I see these computer software proposals that are like BEOs. They're center justified. They look like order sheets. They even put like how many of something in it, like putting 13 roses in the centerpieces, or they're going to do 150 bacon wrapped scallops or whatever it is. Why does the client need to know that? They don't need to know that. They're not hiring us for that. We do not need it. Yes, internally you need this. But why? Your proposal needs to pop. Props that pop. Proposals are very, very important. All right, real quick. If you notice that this is landscape, not portrait, because our computer screens are in landscape. So we don't want them to have to scroll to get to the next page. So this is a holiday party. There's no reason to use green and red or, you know, or blue, whatever it is. You don't need to do that. You just keep them generic, but in season. So it's a holiday party. What you're seeing here is white space is our friend. You don't have to put every single photo that you have in your proposals, and you don't have to match the colors with your logo. You just don't, because every proposal needs to have your name and the client name on it, because people print them, and it helps to put the page number, because people print them, then they get all messed up and they don't know whose company is what. So you can see I'm using just pieces of pictures, and I'm explaining where they're going. Fading is wonderful use of, just, it's easy, it's clean, it's simple. Simple. Pictures will speak for themselves. Okay. I'm letting them know where things are going. Okay, this is the nitty-gritty page. We do not call it the cost breakdown. Nitty-gritty is always just a fun little thing. So we're listing things out. Now, if you notice here, VIP client 10% discount. You notice that right there? We do this for corporate clients. Now, are we actually giving them 10% discount? No. And the reason, I don't want you to think I'm shady or anything. God knows that our profits in our industry are not high. They're not. So if I were to give 10%, that is a hefty little bit, but we raise it up to bring it down. But what this did to the client was they were thrilled. VIP client. I mean, this was one of our clients that we used, and they saw a 10% discount and they just loved it, because we can't take for granted our clients, because they'll start using somebody else, right? Okay. 44% of salespeople give up after one follow-up. Now, if I were to ask you in the chat, I bet some people would say 3. Some people may say 4. But you know what Harvard University says? 80% of sales requires at least 5 follow-ups. That's not me saying this, it's Harvard. Harvard saying this, right? 22% give up after 2. 14% give up after 3, and 12% give up after 4. Yeah. So the reason you feel like you're not getting anywhere, because you hear crickets. They don't answer you. I get it. We keep sending and sending and sending, and you don't hear anything, and then finally you say, you know what, they're not using us. So what we've done, we had the same dilemma, and what we've done with that is that after we do the third, the 3, the normal way, the 4th one, we say, just checking in on you, and we changed the subject line again. And we just said, no pressure, but we just want to hear from you. Sometimes that works. A lot of times that works. But the 5th one really works. The 5th one is we change the subject line. We are not giving up we are not giving up on you. They'll definitely open it. That's for sure. And then they're going to respond. They're either going to say, yeah, we decided to go to a hotel. We're not getting married, or whatever it is. Or, you know, a lot of times we hear, thank you for not giving up on me. I've just finished law school. I have this to do, this to do, this to do. And it's amazing. Here's a perfect example. Have you guys had a client that you were talking to and you gave them a proposal, whatever, and then they just disappeared? And then 3 months later, they come calling? Yeah, I'm sure everybody's like nodding their head. That's exactly what it is. Well, that is because something happened. My mother was sick, and they will never forget that you did not give up on them. Yeah. All right. These, every one of these traits, we don't have to take the poll, but every one of these traits are, every one of these is a salesperson trait. Not everybody has them all, but we're not doing that now because we don't have time. They want to know the truth. They want to be listened to. They want to be taken seriously. They want to get clear explanations. They want to feel important. They want to avoid embarrassment, to be part of the process, to meet personal and professional goals, to work less, not more, to have someone else to blame, to have peer recognition, to be promoted, to avoid pain or discomfort, to be liked and to be considered fair, to get the best price, not the cheapest price, to learn about what we do, to avoid risks. That's it. That's what buyers really want from us. That's it. Not so bad. All right, number 5, the close. All right, so if I were to say, and I think I asked you guys this, is what's the feature of your company? A lot of people are going to say to me, well, it's our food or our design or our people or the beautiful ballroom or our staff or whatever, right? That's what they're going to say. But then if I said, what is a benefit of your company? They pause, and guess what? They give me the same things. Our service, our food, our ballroom, because we're not understanding the difference between features and benefits. I can't get out of this slide, guys. Okay, because features tell, benefits sell, right? We're selling experience, folks. Not things, experiences. Okay, so normally I would open this up and talk to all of you people, but I don't have time. So, but what is this? I'll tell you, it's Play-Doh. So if I were to ask you, what are the features of this Play-Doh? You would say colorful, pliable, creativity, smells delicious, non-toxic. You can see all of these features listed on the box, right? You can see it, boom, 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 boom. But if I were to ask you what the benefits are, some people may be a little bit more adventurous, say creativity, but I can see that on the box. So you will never find a benefit actually on a box. Why? Because benefits invokes emotions in somebody, and everybody has different emotions, what it means to them. So benefits is what's in it for me. So if I were to sell this, if I was selling this to a woman that I knew who had kids, right? So I would say to her, can you imagine your kids sitting there playing with this Play-Doh, right? So now she's imagining it, she's smiling, and then she thinks, oh, I have time for that glass of wine, or I can get my work done, or catch up on some soaps. That's what's in it for me, right? It's not the non-toxic. It's not, yes, all those things are important, but that's not a benefit makes somebody buy something, right? So when the value of your product exceeds the value of their money, I'm going to tell you a little story. So I was going to the mall. Some of you may have heard this, but it drives it home. Okay, so I was going to the mall, and I have to walk through Nordstrom's to get to the mall. And as I'm walking through Nordstrom's, I spot this red dress. So I beeline over there, I pick it up, I'm looking at it, it's really pretty. I look at the price tag, and it's $650. I'm not paying $650. I mean, it's a pretty dress, but that's a lot of money for an everyday dress. It's not even a ball gown. So I go to the mall, I do my shopping. When I finish my shopping, I have to walk back through Nordstrom's to get to my car. And there's that dress again. So I pause and I look at it and I say, you know, it won't hurt if I just try it on. So I go into the dressing room, I put it on. Oh my God, you guys, I looked fabulous in this dress. It covered all my little problem areas. And I really did look good in this dress. What did I do? I bought this damn dress for $650. Why? Why, I might add? Because it made me feel something. It made me feel good. I wasn't going to buy that dress, even though I thought it was very pretty on the rack, till I put it on. So let me ask you something. I really do miss you guys all being here, but I'm going to ask you something. I said, who bought the iPhone when it first came out? Mind you, when the iPhones came out, phones were about $200. I think the iPhone was like $600 when it came out. That's a substantial difference. However, there were waiting lists for this iPhone. So I know my sister Damien, she was on that waiting list for that $600 iPhone. I'm like, you are crazy spending that kind of money. So when I asked her later, why'd she get it? Well, she said, I wanted it before my friends. I just wanted it. Everybody has different reasons. So I know everybody in this whole group has bought something that cost them a little bit more money than they were planning on spending. A piece of jewelry, a car, whatever it is. I know everybody is shaking your heads right now saying, yeah, you're right. That's because it's how it made them feel, right? Okay, so if my red dress and this iPhone story doesn't bring home this benefits, this better.
Little time to kill. Want to get some coffee?
No, let's do Life magazine.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, cheer me up.
I think we have to move the camera over another foot.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is much better. Why don't you take a look here? Yeah, the light is hitting it now in a perfect way. It's giving us just exactly what... It's very good.
Yeah, that really shows the flaws in the structure.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's got a lot of the... It's showing the discoloration here. It's got that look and the flaking. This is better. Come on out, honey.
Hey, you got color in here?
Oh, yeah, coloration. Oh, yes.
Yeah,
yes,
it's not
we have
that. Yeah, this is too nice for black and white.
Yeah.
It's got to be color.
Bingo.
Excuse me. What are you doing?
Well, I hope we're not disturbing you, ma'am. We're with Life magazine. We'll be out of here in just a minute.
I gotta move the camera over another foot there.
What do you mean, Life magazine?
Just 2 minutes, ma'am, and then we'll be out of your way. We just need some pictures for Life magazine, and then we won't be bothered.
Life magazine is here on my front lawn?
Yeah, you see, we're doing a layout on the benefits of aluminum siding. You know, kind of a before and after presentation.
A before picture?
Yeah, so they see your house, and then another house done with aluminum siding. The other house looking so much more beautiful.
In Life magazine?
Yeah, special issue on home improvements, ways to beautify the home.
Yes, it's a wonderful issue. It's one of the most beautiful pictorial things that we've ever done here in Life. You know, ways to improve the home.
This is going to look very good, Phoebe.
Our house is going to be the before picture in Life magazine? Are you crazy? We keep Life magazine on our coffee table. Oh, can't my house be the after?
No, that's so sweet. No, thank you. But we already have a house that that has aluminum siding that looks just like your house, except it's ever so much more beautiful.
Yeah, it really shows the contrast of what a house can look like.
Yeah.
Well, how much does this cost?
What?
The
aluminum siding? I don't know. Do you know anything about the costs?
No, but I think it's fairly reasonable.
Can't my house be the after picture in Life magazine? You could get another house for the before.
What do you mean? Oh, you mean, you would like your house to be the after picture with aluminum siding. And then we would have to find another house to look like their house with for the before picture.
Is that possible, Hans?
Oh, I don't know if we can manage this. What do you say?
I don't know. It's kind of pushing it, baby. It's pushing it. Well, look, what time's your husband get home? Because he'd have to go over the figures with the salesman. Not said there's even a salesman available this evening.
Jerry will be home at 7.
That'll be a total of $3,700.
$3,700? Honey, we're going to be in Life magazine.
So if those two guys knocked on her front door and said, we're selling aluminum siding, what would you do? Close the door. $3,700 in the 50s was a lot of money. So why did she want that? Why? Because her friends looks at Life magazine. She doesn't want to be the before picture. She puts it on her coffee table. This is all, that's what's in it for her. This is what it means to her. So she wanted that aluminum siding. You guys get that, right? So think about the red dress. So we've got to take our benefits, our features, and turn them into benefits, because everybody talks about features and benefits. And Dominic, I'm just curious, because I know I went through this with your team, if they were able to figure it out. And what I want everybody to do is write down all your features of your company. And then I want you to turn them into benefits. I'm going to teach you how to do it in 1 minute. But before I do that, all right, if I gave you one pill, not one pill. Actually, you know what? I'll give you a bottle, one bottle of pills for the rest of your life, Would you want a bottle of vitamins, or do you want a bottle of painkillers? Now, if you're from California, they all choose vitamins. But I'm here to tell you that you may say vitamins, but you know, you happen to get like, okay, maybe there's 30 pills in there, but I'm saying the rest of your life. Maybe you have 50 years. That's one a year. So if you have a really bad headache or a toothache, you're not going to take that painkiller? Yes, you are. Yes, because if you're selling a painkiller, but you sell it like a vitamin, no one's going to buy it. You need to make sure you explain why it's a painkiller. You have to know your audience and know what bothers them the most, and make sure your product or service addresses it. And I typed this all out for you because I think it's very, very important. Okay, so I was at the nail salon when I was able to get my nails done. Look at them. And I'm flipping through the magazine and this ad pops out. And it's like, wow. So why do you think I bought this, by the way? I buy all of them, but I bought this particular one, and none of them work. But I bought this particular one. Why? Normally I'd ask you, but I'm going to tell you. Because it says for the impatient, right? I mean, Amy, with that beautiful skin of hers, she would pass by this and not even look twice, right? But because it meant something to me, because the impatient, because God knows I bought all these wrinkle creams and nothing works, so maybe this one is going to work fast. I bought it. Everybody has different triggers. That's my trigger, right? Everybody has different triggers, so it's our job to figure out what the triggers are. And guess how you can figure them out, you guys? Through those qualifying questions. Yes, through those qualifying. All right, so this is what we're going to do. Here it is. So once you've figured out what your features are, then you want to turn them into benefits. And the way you do that is let's take a feature. Everybody has service as a feature, right? Everybody says, oh, our services go great. You know, you can continue to say this, and guess what? It's going over their heads, because everybody's saying they have fabulous service. Well, first of all, they're thinking, well, yeah, that's what you do for a living. And then they hear it so much, it goes over their heads. But if you take something and know and put it with a trigger of theirs, so you could say, our service is so outstanding, which means, you have to use the word which means, because those words in humans, we perk up, because when you say which means, it is the indication that something important is going to be happen after. So our service is so outstanding, which means your friends are not going to wait at the bar to get a drink. Now, first of all, that is mortifying to especially a bride, you know, because you know they're planning their event for their friends. Or she was at an event where she had to wait in lines for the bar. That's just mortifying to her. But nobody put it to her that way, that, you know, maybe your competitor always has lines at the bar, they're always understaffed or something. You can't tell them that. But what you can say is that our service is so outstanding, which means that your Aunt Matilda will have nothing to say about anything. Maybe she was complaining about Aunt Matilda. That's why we're writing everything down. Try it again. Our food is so outstanding, which means everybody's going to be pinning it, pin, or whatever it is. Our venue is so beautiful, or the staircase is so stunning, which means Instagram's going to be on fire. I mean, this strikes home, right? Because you're putting your client in the issue, in an issue that you know is important to them. Yeah, and that's how that works. Okay, we're coming to the close, guys. You stuck with me. All right, so number 6 is the objection. Okay. Okay, so you are at the point where it's ready to close, right? And they don't close. You've done the proposal, you've done a tasting, you've done everything you possibly can. They're happy with everything. They were happy with everything, but they don't want to put any money down. They don't want to close. So I'm going to show you this video here, and something huge happened here. Now get ready, because I want you to make sure it's in the chat room that you put this in, because this is really important, okay? Let's watch this. Something happened that turned this all the way around. You got to figure it out. Here we go.
So, how are your daughters?
They're great, thanks. How about your grandkids?
They're fine. My son-in-law has just enrolled our oldest, Ralphie, in a computer camp, whatever the hell that is.
This is my boss, Carter Duryea.
It's a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Kalb. You have a really awesome company here. It's a really awesome.
Your boss? He looks more like your nephew.
I've certainly been learning a lot from Dan, so.
So what happened to your eye?
That's one of the things he learned from me.
Are you saying that you punched him in the eye? Why?
Well, we don't have to really go into it here.
No, please. I'm rather curious.
Why did I hit you? He called me a dinosaur, said I was out of date, that I better step in line.
So, you slugged him?
It was a fair fight.
Right. Mr. Kalb, we have a sister company, Crispity Crunch, that I think we could do a really exciting cross-promotion with here, all in the Globecom family. I think that we could achieve...
Carter, it's okay. Mr. Kalb, I don't want to get into facts and figures with you today. You know them already. I just want to ask you one question. What is your hesitation about advertising with Sports America magazine?
My hesitation is that our ad budget is already overextended. My son-in-law has put a lot of money into cable and online, and now he wants to plow even more money back into it. But
what?
But he is such an asshole. I mean, I built this business. I know more about running this than he ever will. So yeah, I'm going to make a major ad buy in your magazine, and then I'm going to restructure the whole damn ad campaign.
That is great news. Thank you, Mr. Kalb.
Yes. Thank you so much, sir.
You know, I don't give a shit about Crispity Crunch. Let's just stick with the magazine, okay? Really slugged him?
Yeah. Carter?
Oh my God. Oh my God, that was amazing. That was unbelievable. God, that was actually fun.
What Kalb really needed to see was an old fart beat the crap out of a young punk half his age. You know what the best thing is? It's the right thing to do. It'll improve his business.
Wow, you actually believe in this stuff, huh?
Of course I do. Why else would I do it?
Well, I'm coming back to you guys. The few that are left with me, but I appreciate it. So I see everybody turned off their videos. Is that because you're pretending you're there? Anyway, thank you, Sandy and Samantha. Oh, there you are. Okay, so what happened here? And Abby, you can't say it, and neither can Dominic's crew. Something happened. What? Come on. What happened to turn this around?
We asked the question. Just
What?
identify what's that fear? What's that initial objection? What's the first barrier to the sale?
Yeah, that's a question.
No, I mean that's what
Well,
happened.
but what exactly happened? It's so massive how it turned it all around.
He identified with his client or
Yeah.
with the client.
But how, Samantha?
I have incoming, Merle.
What do you have?
We have people saying that they related to him. They listened to him and went on his level.
That's a good point. But one question turned this whole thing around. And I really want you to dig deep on this, guys, because this is really powerful. Am I going to have to give it to you? I'll give it to you.
Wait. Wait. What is your hesitancy? What's stopping you?
Hesitation. Yes, gold star. Who was
Why
that?
aren't you buying? They're coming in left and right now.
Yeah, so who's the first person that said, what is your hesitation?
What is your hesitation? Came from Melissa McCullough.
All right, Melissa, I'm sending you a book.
She wrote, listen to him and went on his level relating. What is your hesitancy?
That's right. What is your hesitation? See, this guy wasn't buying. So his son-in-law was running the company. And then as soon as Dennis Quaid said, what's your hesitation? He had to think about it. And he said, well, you know what? My hesitation is, I've been doing this for 25 years, whatever it was. He doesn't know what he's doing. Yeah, I'm going to put an ad buy in there. That's my hesitation. So now we have this very, very powerful question for when a client says, oh, everything looks good. And then the next word, there's no closing. There's no closing line. Everybody says, what's your closing line? What's your closing line? I said, we don't have closing lines. The only thing you say to them, let's get you on the calendar. And if they start giving you some, like, well, we want to think about it. Like, what the hell? Everything is out on the table here. So that's when we say, well, what is your hesitation? They're going to tell you what their hesitation is. They're going to say, well, we have another tasting, or we have another meeting, or I have to wait for my father, or there's a lot of things. Or it could be, yeah, I didn't like the floor plan. That's something you could fix right away. Or I wasn't crazy about the saw. Something you could fix. Do you know what I mean? So we've got to find out, because we can't let these people walk out the door because somebody else is going to ask them directly. And you guys can do this by what is your hesitation? Now I'm going to end there because I think it's very, very powerful. Very powerful. So you 25 of you, I so appreciate you sticking with me. And I will send you the things that I promised I would send, which thank goodness this was taped because I can't remember what I said I was going to send you, but I will. So thank you all very much. Does anybody have any questions right now before we go? No? All right.
Thanks, Meryl.
Thank you. Let's keep connected with me, you guys. I want to hear like how things working and stuff like that. And sorry we ran over. Bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Everybody shouting out, thank you.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good one.
I love the diamonds on your wall behind you.
I did that myself.
Oh my God.
I'm at my storehouse because I figured, what the hell? I'm not going home. So I figured I'd stay at the store.
It's nice.
I'm
we just moved into this place. I'm trying to figure out, like, the office. I've got some travel crap, and I don't know.
I gotta tell you, the diamonds were easy to do. All I did was that painter's tape.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'll have to. Now you're gonna send this whole video to us. I can share it with my team.
I normally don't send it, but I'm going to. But you only have like 72 hours to view it.
Okay. I was just gonna show it to my assistant manager.
Huh?
Yeah. I was just gonna let my assistant manager. She had to go to a diversity and inclusion meeting today. She's really on fire right now. She's bored. So